What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 4 of the Redmont Rangers Road to Glory career mode. We're going to jump straight into a game today to give some more people a chance to jump in the stream before we go into some core DNA stuff and some objectives for this season, which people have been asking for in the comments. So bear with me 2 seconds. We'll jump straight into a first game against Gillingham, and we'll see where we are by the end of that game. I do kind of have new sliders. There's not big updates to the sliders. However, there are some minor updates. Let me breeze through the sliders real quick. It's very similar to version 3. The most recent title update, although in the patch notes, there were significant changes to the gameplay, at least to the defensive line. It actually didn't result in massive changes being made to the slider set itself. So everything up here is the same, I'm pretty sure. We're still on the same sprint speed. Error values, shot speed for the CPU, I brought down 1. So from 35 to 34. Everything else is the same here. We still have the 65 run frequency and the 99 run frequency for the CPU. However, it's in these line values where the main differences are. So line height has been increased ever so slightly to 80 apiece for the user and the CPU. Line length has been reduced slightly to 35. And line width is the same. So teams will set up slightly higher up the pitch, but they will be slightly more condensed as well. The other thing that I've changed is I've reversed the first touch control error values. So before in version 4.0 of the sliders, the user was at 99, the CPU was at 5. We've got them the other way around now. So the user down at 5 and the CPU at 99. Everything in here, I believe, is the same as well from version 4.0. So some very minor tweaks. It's a version 4.1 rather than a version 5, essentially. But those are the new sliders we'll be working with for the episode and beyond. I am also trying to work out how to gift some subs today, which is something that I would like to do. However, I'm not currently seeing the option to do that where I thought it would be. So maybe we'll address that later in the stream. But yeah, we're going to jump straight into a game today. Just jumping straight into the Gillingham game. We'll go over the calendar and what we've got coming up. But like I said, I wanted to give people a chance to join the stream. So we'll hang out with the game in League 2 whilst we wait for more people to join. And then, yeah, we'll go over the calendar. We've got the opening of the January transfer window to get to in today's episode as well. And kind of related to that, we'll be going over the core DNA setup we've got for this season, because we're probably going to be utilizing that in today's stream, since I'm anticipating bids coming in for our players, and we'll want to be utilizing that realistic buying and selling calculator when needed. We don't necessarily need to use it for every single transfer. Some of them, just on the face of it, you can tell if they're realistic or not. However, if we're unsure, then we'll be utilizing the calculator in core DNA. I haven't input the squad just yet because I think it's still a little bit buggy, the squad tab, especially to do with the ages. The ages don't seem to kind of port through. They don't seem to take. So I've not really input the squad yet. Everything else though is sorted and ready to go. So I'm going to try and get some comments up on my phone too. It's the way I had it last time. It's going to save me looking over to my right the entire time. Those slider adjustments pretty much are set in stone. That's I feel happy with that. Yeah, I'm not really testing at this stage. Version 4 was in a good place, I think, and I was nervous, I was anxious when I saw the patch notes for the most recent title updates. I thought it would mean a big overhaul of the sliders, but actually I tested, I experimented, and it just didn't. It didn't have a huge impact on the gameplay, and in fact, actually, it had a positive impact on the gameplay, I think. So, yeah, the Tifo in League 2. Always loved that. It's always it always seems to be as well a player you would never have a Tifo for. Just some random role player, rather than like a fan favorite. Sometimes you get the, you know, the legend Tifos. We've seen the Ian Wright in the Crystal Palace career mode from time to time this season. So we are going with pretty much our strongest 11 for this game. Callum Broad in goal. We've got Hobbs back at right back. We've got Hutchinson and Stokes at centre back. Burns at left back. In fact, with the exception of Ethan Saint, who is still injured, it is the strongest 11 that we started the season with. Kabore, who's intercepted the ball there in midfield alongside Sean Rose. El Fakiri on one flank, Kai Fry on the other. And the big man Dave Williamson up front alongside the youngster Charlie Pearce. And it's good football early. We can't quite find Williamson with the pullback though. But El Fakiri will press as Gillingham bring it clear through Nolan. I wouldn't mind suggestions in the comments nice and early for players we should target in January. We're not looking to spend any money. We will be going through the objectives that we set for this season after this game. But one of those objectives was to turn a profit in the transfer market. So we're not looking to spend. I would be open, though, to bring in a player or two in on loan from a Premier League or maybe more likely a Championship club. A left back, a winger. Oh my God, I thought that was in. Decent enough effort from, who's that, Lapsley. Curling away towards that far corner. Callum Broad was scrambling. But yeah, left back, a wide midfielder, and a striker. I would be open to loaning in any of those three positions. So get your suggestions down in the comments and we'll go through some of those after the game. Burns. El Fakiri on the left. Charlie Pearce collects but loses out promptly. We really don't have a lot of depth up front. Williamson is great. Ethan Saint is very good but injured. And Charlie Pearce is promising but young. And then beyond that, it's Lewis, the 52 overall, whose first name I constantly forget. Actually, maybe it's Ellis. I'm sure I was calling him maybe Alex before. And I'm fairly certain it's Ellis. But he is awful. We've got him on the bench today, but we really can't afford to play him, to be honest. So we could use a loanee for the remainder of the season. Hobbs looking for Pearce. Actually, it comes to El Fakiri at the back post. Headed clear by Gillingham. Sean Rose brings it down. A lunging challenge inside the Gillingham box. But they do once more bring the ball clear. So looking to establish ourselves within the automatic promotion places today. Dave Williamson. Early chance. Pokes it towards goal with his right. Carried away by the Gillingham keeper. Pretty much straight at him, to be fair. That's well won by Sean Rose. But he can't find Pearce. Early opportunity for Dave Williamson to get off the mark. And a bit of a slow episode 3. And we hope that that's not going to continue into episode 4. Pearce. Good overlapping run by El Fakiri. Could have done with that run from Williamson a little earlier. Here's Burns in support. Sean Rose. Kabore. Kai Fry on the far side. This is good football. Kabore doesn't lose out. Sean Rose intent on dispossessing Kabore himself, though. But Rose will shape to shoot from range. Gillingham defender gets the foot in immediately. So, yeah, as you can see, I like the shape of the game after title update 4, and with those slight slider adjustments. it has resulted in a slightly more dynamic, competitive, and combative midfield than we had just in version 4.0. I will put the sliders out on the channel and in the Discord as well. I probably won't make a video because they're such slight changes, and because my schedule is quite tight over the coming days, I can't really squeeze in a slider update video. I already had to forego the midweek Crystal Palace episode to get the testing done. I don't want to forego another episode just to get some slight changes to the line values in. So we won't bother with a video, but I will post them to the community tab and I will post them in the Discord channel. El Fakiri. High fry at the back post, can't get there. Been a bit of a tame start to the game, to be honest. Not too many chances at either end. Just that one for Dave Williamson. The only opportunity that stands out, really. Charlie Pearce can't find Williamson on this occasion. The defensive lines are far more engaged now as well. So that was obviously a big focus of the most recent title update. And you can certainly see that. And again, with the slightly increased line height and the slightly decreased line length, I think that's helped as well. But defensive lines, they don't set up so deep. At times, defensive lines were kind of setting up on the edge of the 6-yard box. And at the very most, kind of between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot. And it's just too deep. And they weren't really engaged either. Teams would, you know... Oh, no. 1-0 Gillingham. 1-0 Gillingham. Nevitt fires Gillingham into the lead. And we allowed him far too much space. Hutchinson, Stokes. Lack of communication in the centre of our defence. Yeah, Nevitt just picks up an intelligent space between the two defenders. And slots it away. Nice finish. So, trying to come from behind. Away from home, to be fair. But not a game that we're looking to lose, by any means. Gillingham, certainly beatable opposition. At this stage, we'd probably be happy enough with a draw. But just getting on the score sheet as quickly as possible is going to be the target. Hey, how's it going, Fraser? Yeah, the Tifos in England are a rarity. It is always a bit of an immersion break when you see the Tifos in the... Well, yeah, any English club, really, to be honest. I've never seen one in real life in a game in England. I've seen banners. I've seen, you know, large flags. And by large, I mean, you know, the size of kind of half a stand, where they just kind of give it to supporters at one end of the stand and spread it out, you know, pass it over the heads of several people until it covers like almost half the stand. I've never seen like an actual tifo in a game in England, though. Very common in the MLS. Dave Williamson. Bit of space. Gillingham defenders just drop off, which was, to be fair, the right tactic. Williamson just didn't really have the options. Rolled out short by the Gillingham keeper, and we almost stole in there. Not quite, however. Lapsley, the goal scorer. No, Nevitt, the goal scorer. Lapsley almost scored. And Hutton, the right back. Bit of space in midfield for Lapsley again. Sean Rose dropping in, though. Hutchinson plays the offside. And he didn't step up quickly enough. Either that or somebody else was keeping the Gillingham attacker on. Callum Broad, big save at the near post, though. Kai Fry. Got two Gillingham attackers on his hands. Does send it all the way back towards the halfway line, though. We need a bit of pace in this team as well. So used to playing with Crystal Palace on the quick counter-attack. A bit more of a possession approach in these particular tactics, but we really could use a bit of pace, either up front or on the wings. Well intercepted by Brandon Stokes. Kai Fry. Twisting, turning, finding Jordan Hobbs just about. Kai Fry once more. Kabore. Fry. Gillingham just sitting very deep, taking all options away. There's Williamson. Good run from Kabore. Williamson tries the cheeky little back heel. And Sean Rose just gets the shot away. I wanted El Fakiri to run onto that, but he kind of left it for Sean Rose, and it's a heavy touch. Gillingham hook clear, and it will be a Redmont throw. Five minutes to go until half-time. Really could do with a goal before the break, but it doesn't look at this stage like we're going to get one. And that's an awful cross. We're certainly not going to get one that way. So we do have 10 games to get to in today's episode. We're probably going to play, I would say 5. Let's play half the games, and we will quick sim the other half. I'll try and give you guys a bit of input in terms of which games we play, but we've got a cup game against Burnley coming up, so that'll probably be the next one that we play. Well claimed by Callum Broad. Can we get one quick counter-attack in before the break? Sean Rose drives through the Gillingham midfield. Forced wide though. Williamson. Charlie Pearce. El Fakiri on the far side. Cuts inside onto his right, and again it's a heavy touch. So heavy. Sean Rose was there. Just needed to square the ball to him. Massively heavy touch from El Fakiri though, who's had a poor first half. Footy Adventures, yeah, I think because there are so few and such minor changes to the slider set, I think you can just use version 4, and the patch has certainly improved it. But I do think the gameplay is even better with those slight adjustments. Hey man, how's it going? Good to see you back. We are struggling here at the moment, so we could do with turning the tide. But no changes coming out for the second half. Gillingham looking to grab a second goal, of course. Lapsley kind of dictating the game for Gillingham at the moment. He had a very good first half. Almost gave Gillingham the lead initially. Hobbs. Burns stepping up into midfield. And not quite finding El Fakiri. Spoke too soon. And now he's out of position defensively, Jamie Burns. Scrambling to get back. Headed clear by Jordan Hobbs. And now this is the opportunity for the quick counter-attack. Well, I say the quick counter-attack. The muddling counter-attack with Kai Fry. Dave Williamson, though, spots the run of Kabore and lays it perfectly into his path. The Gillingham defender backs off. And Kabore puts it wide. He's not the player we'd want in that position, to be fair. But the Gillingham defender backed off. Gave him the opportunity to shoot. An opportunity that he... Well, I mean, he took the opportunity to shoot, but didn't make the most of it. Clark loses out to Fry. Kabore. Sean Rose. Let's get some men forward. Let's play the ball around a little. Give our supporting players a chance to do exactly that. Kabore. Pearce. Williamson. Nicely worked. And Williamson with the left foot this time. When he prodded it with his right in the first half, I wanted a left-footed finish. When I wanted him to leather it with his right there, he prodded at it with his left. Williamson's poor run of form continues. And why on earth has Corey Hutchinson let that drop? El Fakiri didn't come back to bite us, thankfully. Kabore. Williamson. And Charlie Pierce has made a good run. And he's going to get a shot away. Parried away. Or parried up by the Gillingham keeper. Not really away. But dealt with eventually. Decent enough start to the second half. I would say we do deserve an equaliser. We haven't created too many opportunities. But I think we've had the better of Gillingham on the balance of play. Yeah, I'm definitely glad club football returns this week as well. I kind of look forward to the international breaks. But they are so often underwhelming. I only watched the first half of the England game the other night as well. Well, it was quite a while ago now. Against Ireland. I watched the first half. And it was 0-0. I then turned it off. And there was a red card and 5 goals. So... But yeah, the international break is... When it's the Nations League, it's like just... What are we really doing here? Who really cares? Neither El Fakiri or Pierce can win the ball back. We do eventually, though. But out for a Gillingham throw. We'll make a couple of changes next time the ball goes out of play. Because we are still searching for a way back into this game. Good challenge from Brandon Stokes. Gillingham, unfortunately, get the luck of the deflection. Hans Newman looking on. Going to make a change or two here. So, I mean, we can't really afford to bring Pierce off. Let's bring Bird on for El Fakiri. That's an easy change because El Fakiri's been poor. There's not really anything else that I want to do, to be honest. I mean, I'd like to bring Pierce off, but with Lewis as the only option on the bench, it seems like there's little point, to be honest. Hutchinson finds Stokes. Kabore. Kai Fry. Williamson with a good run in behind. It's an ambitious ball from Kai Fry, and it doesn't find Williamson. Blake Bird on the left-hand side now then. He's been decent, Blake Bird. And I think he'll continue to be decent for us. He's on the older side, so how much longer we have him for, I'm not sure. But I think he'll be a decent role player for the next season or two. And he does get us underway here. Charlie Pierce. Finds Kabore. Space to shoot. Oh, no. Oh, no, Kabore. I said space to shoot. And I think just the word shoot, the idea of shoot must have been in my mind for that reason, because I tried to just pass the ball out to Kai Fry and I just pressed B instead. So Kabore just smashes the ball out of play. Episode 3, for anybody who's wondering, is going to be posted in a video at the end of the month. So we have this stream and we have one more for season 1. All streams are going to be compiled into one long video, edited, condensed. They won't just be the full streams. Great run again from Charlie Pierce. One touch, can't get the shot away. Kai Fry. Kabore wants it. Kabore gets it and he's hit the post. That was our opportunity. Kabore with an excellent run from his midfield position. Breaks into the box. Gets his head on it. But cracks the post. Blake Bird cutting inside off that left flank. And he's put too much on it. Oh, he does find Hobbs though. Hobbs just about keeps it in. Kabore once more. Sean Rose. Kabore again. This time he will shoot. It's a decent effort. Parried again. Up and into the back of the net from Williamson. We saw the goalkeeper do exactly the same earlier in the game. And it was a Gillingham defender who was first to the ball. Not on this occasion. This time it's Williamson who punishes the goalkeeper's inability to parry over the bar with a free header, essentially. And we are back in the game. What, 20 minutes left to play? 20 minutes left to play. Level pegging here away from home, with an opportunity to take all 3 points from a game in which it looked like we might get nothing. But yeah, all live streams are going to be edited, condensed, compiled into a video which I'll be posting at the end of the month that will cover the entirety of Season 1. For this first season, because we had a couple of episodes already, it will just be the 3 live streams. But usually it will be 4. But the live streams themselves will be unlisted until that point, so you won't see them on the channel. They won't be there to catch up with, but you will be able to see them at the end of the month in the form of a season-long video. Kabore, what a game he's had. Can't keep it in, though. Gillingham through Lapsley, looking to get back ahead. Lapsley's been good for Gillingham. He might be a player worth scouting. That's poor from Sean Rose. That's really poor. Invites Gillingham pressure. Lapsley once more. Finds Gordon. Hobbs does enough to send it backwards. But Gordon again. Kai Fry dispossesses him though. There's Hobbs. Fry. Stokes will probably make a couple more changes next time the ball goes out of play, because we're going to pretty much be forced into at least a change or two. We don't really have players on the bench that I want to bring on, but just in terms of stamina, we're going to be forced to make some changes, I would imagine. Kabore looking a little worse for wear, and I'd like to have him for the next couple games. Pierce is very much worse for wear, so we're going to have to bring Lewis on. Don't really have an option. Kai Fry with the break forward. Instead we find Williamson. We need a run from Pierce. He's kind of reluctant to make one. So Williamson just continues into the box. Gets a shot away with his left. It's not a great one. Probably the worst option out of the 3 there. We had a couple of runners up ahead. We'll get a poll going for each game that we play as well for man of the match. So as we come towards the end of the game, start thinking about who your man of the match is for this one. In fact, I might post it in the... I'll post the poll next time we change... The next time we pause for substitutions, which is now. Let's make a couple subs. Let's see who's man of the match. I think Kabore has to be an option. I think Williamson has to be an option. I think maybe Callum Broad should be an option. And let's go with a 4th. I think potentially Sean Rose should be an option. Let me know in the chat if I've missed anybody though. So Kabore, Williamson, Broad, Rose. I'm not sure why Sean Rose is the only one who gets his full name. Everybody else just gets surnames. It's not as if we have 2 Roses on the team. Either Sean Rose or Kabore is going to come off here as well. And I think it's Sean Rose. Just the 2 additional changes here. As Callum Broad finds Kai Fry, who looks for the run of Williamson, doesn't quite find him. Williamson pressuring the Gillingham keeper, who does just hook it clear. Brandon Stokes. Nicely worked in midfield, and Kai Fry's in space on the right-hand side again. What a ball that is from Kabore. We'll take a corner if we can't get the ball into the box here. Kabore once more. And we will get that corner. We'll make these couple of substitutions here as well. As will Gillingham. So Kai Fry to deliver. Stokes towards the back post, can't get there. Jamie Burns isn't going to win that. It does fall to Lewis, though. And Kai Fry in space. Parried away by the Gillingham keeper. Chance to win it at the end for Kai Fry. Can't quite take advantage. But we will get another corner. And we will look again for Kabore, who grabs the winner. 2 minutes from time. Surely he's got to be man of the match now. Fry hasn't been too bad for sure. But I think Kabore already had 60% of the vote. And surely he's got to win man of the match now. He's been influential, and now he's grabbed what looks to be the winner. 2 minutes from time. 2.92 vertical. It looks like he didn't jump as high as Williamson did earlier. And his was only a 1.51 vertical. So I'm not sure how Kabore got, well, I guess twice as high as Williamson did there. Well cut out by Williamson. Hutchinson. And we can just try and keep possession for the remaining couple of minutes of the game here. I think this would be a deserved victory. My heart was in my throat there for a second because poor Gillingham midfielders just kind of appeared on the right-hand side of the screen from absolutely nowhere. And I almost just passed the ball straight to one of them. But I think this is a deserved victory. Gillingham took the lead, and I mean, it wasn't exactly against the run of play. And Gillingham have been decent enough. I think we've been better, though. And I think we are good value for a 2-1 victory. I wouldn't have complained too much about a 1-1 draw. But certainly good to grab the winner at the end. And like we said, we are looking to establish ourselves in the automatic promotion places. And this is a good first step towards doing that in today's episode. And Kabore with 60% of the votes does indeed win man of the match for game 1. Very good performance all around. Gillingham edged possession, but we had far more shots. We just did a lot more with our possession than Gillingham did. So, the January transfer window is officially open. Did we get any suggestions in the comments for loanee players? If not, I would love your suggestions. Are there any left backs, any wide midfielders, any strikers from Championship or Premier League clubs that you think we should be bringing in on loan this January? If so, let me know, and we will get them. We probably won't get them scouted, to be fair, because I do have the scouting on slow, so it's going to take a while. But I can just. I can take your word. I can trust you that they're going to be a decent enough player, and we can just we can take them in blind. This is for season 1. This is episode 4. So we've had episode 1 and 2 as regular videos. We've had one live stream, and then this is the second live stream. The way we're going to be doing it going forward is there's going to be 4 live stream episodes. So this is episode 4 for season 1, but this would be episode 3. This will be episode 3 going forward, basically. At this point of the season is going to be when we are in episode 3, basically. Jay Stansfield is a player we do already have on our shortlist. He is a player that we are looking at. Let me show you the shortlist that we've currently got. So, Jonathan Tompkinson is a player that I've added. He is somebody I could potentially look to loan from Norwich. We've got Rob Nizzard. We've got Will Ferry. We've got Dylan Williams. We've got Harrison Burrows and Ben. I still don't even know how to say his name. But Ben Crizene, I guess, at left back. We got Tony Springer. I basically just raided Norwich City in terms of players that I might like to loan. We've done the same with Forsyth and with Schwartau, who I think would be a really interesting one, actually. We've got Matty Virtue, we've got Tom Lowry, we've got Ronan Darcy, who was a suggestion in the last stream. We've got Jay Stansfield up front, we've got Mason Burstow, and we've got Jonah Ayunga as well. So that's our shortlist currently. I'm interested in Schwartau, and we can loan him. He has just joined the club. And we'll just do a basic terms loan for the second half of the season. No reason to do a loan to buy just yet, I don't think. I don't even know he's making... So I say he's making quite a lot of money, and that would be a fairly substantial investment, usually for a League 2 club. But in-game, the wages are so inflated. They want us to pay 80% of his wages. That's simply not going to happen. We'll go to 50. No, that's not going to happen. We're not paying anywhere close to 70% of his wages. Not going to happen. Bogard from Villa, Cogley from Bolton. Let's take a look at those guys. So, Bogard. Lamar Bogard is the player. And then Cogley. Whoops. Colgi? I'm not sure who you mean in terms of the Bolton player. Let's just let's go to Bolton and see. Bolton in League 1? Yeah. We've got Coleman, we've got Collins. Ah, this guy. Josh Dacre Cogley? Again, no idea how you pronounce that. All right, let's take a look as well at some objectives and at the core DNA, the core DNA sheet that we've got going for this season as well. So let's go over first of all objectives, because again, that's going to dictate to some extent what we do in the transfer market. And then I will go over how we've got core DNA set up. I did go over some of that in episode 1 of the regular kind of in the regular series video. But we'll go over it again here just in case. So let's go with so these are our objectives for this season. We have, well, let me just go through them individually. So we need to promote 3 youth prospects to the first team. If we do that, we can sign a 3-star youth scout. Remember, we are currently very much restricted in terms of what we can do with youth scouts. We currently only have, I think, a couple of 1-star youth scouts, if I remember. So, wait a minute, have I just screwed something up here? No, I think we're good. Sorry, give me 2 seconds. Yeah, we're good. So yeah, we can sign a 3-star youth scout. If we fail to do that, we have to release the 2 highest rated players in the academy. We don't have a huge number of good looking prospects at the moment, so we're going to have to add those over the course of the season. We do have a decent looking centre back and right midfielder that I can show you in just a second as well. We need to score 20 goals in all competitions with Dave Williamson. We're off to a good start in that regard, because he has currently scored 10 goals in 10 goals in League 2 already. And that's not even with the cup competitions. So we should be able to reject all offers for Dave Williamson in Season 2 by the looks of it. League 2, we need to make the playoffs at the very least. We can sign a big name player age 30 plus if we do that. So we'll be looking to add a few of those over the course of the second half of the season as well. EFL Trophy, we need to not lose at home, which again, we've managed to do so far. And that will allow us to double the merchandising revenue in the end of season report. So this is on Core DNA, which again, we'll get to in just a second. And then finally, a financial target, turn a profit in the transfer market. So that will allow us to sign 2 free agents ahead of season 2, something we can't currently do, sign free agents, because again, we are restricted by Core DNA in that regard. Core DNA itself, this is how we are currently set up in, well, let me show you the club tab first of all, just in case people want to use it themselves. So if you want to do a creator club on Core DNA, you have to select that in here. So classic career would just be with an actual team. Creator club is what you need to select if you are using that particular feature. You select the team that you've replaced in the game. So I just replaced Accrington Stanley because who are they? You do need to input these things manually as well, or it won't cook properly. So we've got 1 star or 1 domestic prestige, 1 international prestige. We've got 1 league reputation. I did manually reduce this to 20 DNA points as well, just to make it even harder. Our rival club is Middlesbrough, so we're based in the northeast. So Middlesbrough is our main rival. Hans Newman is German, and he's got links with Hanover United. Oh, Hanover United. What is that? Hanover 96. So the main club is our affiliate club, and then Hanover 96-2 is our feeder club. So we might be looking to take advantage of that by bringing in a couple of Hanover players in the future. So that's that for there. Core DNA, we have currently 5 points invested in culture. This was just to get some additional traits. So in the culture strand, every DNA point you allocate there gives you an extra trait point to spend. So we actually haven't spent any trait points in culture. We just wanted the 5 extra, basically. We've invested nothing in operations, recruitment, employment, but we have invested 3 in development so that we can unlock practice makes perfect. We get an extra coach and we get an extra coaching knowledge tier. We've invested 4 in networking so that we can unlock the global talent pool. So we get an extra youth scout and an extra global transfer network scout. And then we've unlocked 5 in academy. We can promote 2 additional players to the first team from the youth academy this season. We have a plus 10% chance of signing all prospects from youth scouting trips. We can sign 2 additional prospects from scouting trips, and then we can automatically sign all prospects up to 80 potential. All other prospects, so anyone 80 plus, we will have to input through the signing calculator, and it will determine whether or not we get to sign them, basically. As I said, I haven't input anything in the squad screen yet. You can see that I tried to do it before and it wasn't really taking. The age in particular is the problem. So I'll continue trying to fix that and I'll sort that out at a later date. For today, we're going to be primarily utilizing the buy and the sell tabs, essentially, when we do have to rely on Core DNA. So I think we just continue and monitor any bids that we get for our players. Let's go over the calendar as well. So the schedule for today's episode. So we've got several League 2 games. Chesterfield, we're going to quick sim. Burnley, we are going to play. Let's play 1 more game in League 2. So we've got Port Vale, we've got Grimsby, we've got Crewe. So we're going to quick sim Chesterfield. We're going to play Burnley. Which of the other League 2 games would you like to see? Let's get an additional poll for that. So we could face Grimsby. We could face Crewe. We could face Port Vale. Let's take a look at the table, because that might give you a little more information about who you want to see after Burnley. So, all of them are struggling. Crew are 15th, Grimsby are 16th, Port Vale are 20th. So, really, we should beat all three of them. However, it's Chesterfield first. And we're probably going to have to rotate our 11 significantly for this game, I would imagine. So let's do what we can with our training plans. But I think we're going to have to be utilising a lot of players from the bench. I mean, our bench is going to be fit, but it's not going to be sharp. Our starting 11 is going to be sharp, but it's not going to be fit. That is the problem with such low-rated players, though, and when we take away those options of all-out performance and all-out energy. That's the best typo I've ever seen. I assume you mean Burnley will be exciting, but you've said Burnley will be exiting, and I agree. Burnley will be exiting. We're going to beat Burnley. I think that's the best typo I've ever seen. Love the enthusiasm. Unless you did just genuinely mean exiting and you're just incredibly confident. More confident than I am, if so. So let's rotate the 11 for Chesterfield. Let's keep Pearce up front, because Lewis isn't even particularly fit. So we don't even get a big improvement in terms of energy if we put Lewis in over Pearce. So we'll just leave Pearce in. And let's put Mann on the bench for this one as well. It's a nice away kit from Chesterfield. We do beat Chesterfield. So Sean Rose scores. Dave Williamson scores again. So he's grabbed a couple in today's episode already. So back-to-back wins in League 2. And Ethan Saint could be returning for the Burnley game. He's feeling pretty fit. I'm not sure that means he's going to be ready to play, though. He can join first team training sessions. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not quite ready to start yet. No transfer offers just yet. So I think let's just try and get as fit and as sharp as possible for the Burnley game. Hutchinson is going to be in good shape. Stokes the same by the looks of it. He's going to be in decent shape. Burns is not going to be sharp, and I'm not sure why, because he's been playing a lot recently. El Fakiri, Sean Rose is going to be in very good shape. Kabore, who was the star against Gillingham, really. Man of the match performance from him. He's going to be in good shape. Kai Fry is going to start on the right-hand side. Dave Williamson is going to start up front. He's going to be fit, but a little short of match sharpness. Again, I'm not sure why, because he's been playing a lot recently. I think we might bring Saint off the bench for this game, to be fair. Because I'm not sure he's going to be ready to start, to be honest. He could do with a little more sharpness. Frankie Webb might play a role against Burnley. I think it's a trip to Turf Moor as well here, isn't it? Rather than Burnley coming to Redmont Arena. Port Vale currently leading the way. Everybody just wants to see us absolutely demolish 20th place Port Vale. Dominic Norman's been approached. There's only 5 months left on his deal. And he is making nearly £9,000 at 56 overall and 24 years of age. I think we just let him walk. This might be something we need to address today as well, though. Seymour is expiring. He's only 27. In fact, let's delegate renewal for him now. Look at these wages. What is he making? He's making 10.5. These wages are outrageous. I mean, I guess we match that. I really don't want to go any more than 12. And he does take 12 for a 2-year extension. Blake Birder wouldn't mind for an additional year as well. He's currently on 11.5. So, I mean, maybe we could even get him to take a pay cut. He takes a... He matches. He matches for a 1-year extension. Everybody else, I think we can probably let go and get some of this money off the books. Seymour, I assume, happy to get it done. He is. Norman is going to be joining Newport County. So joining a league rival come the end of the season. Yes, incredibly annoying, especially if you are using Core DNA. Because it just completely ruins your wage budget. Completely ruins it. But we have arrived at the... Yeah, we don't even have Saint available. But we have arrived at the day of the Burnley game. So Broad, Hobbs, Hutchinson, Stokes. Yeah, just our fittest, strongest 11. Hardy, Hurst. I think we'll go with Seymour. And the benches are huge. The benches are huge. We've got plenty of choices on the bench. Let's put Mann on the bench as well. Lewis and Sadler. Let's actually... There's no point playing Norman if we're going to be losing him at the end of the year. We're going to be better off having Davison on the bench. Or in fact, we'll be even better off having Hooper on the bench. All right, that's the squad. Burnley, the opponents. Trick to Turf Moor. As Tottenham sign Antoine Griezmann. That's interesting. Trick to Turf Moor in round 3 of the FA Cup. Let's wear the away kit. We haven't worn the away kit yet this season. So we go with the all white with the black pinstripes. And we will see how far we are away from championship contention. Obviously, we are minimum 2 seasons away from championship contention. But at this stage, if we were to play in the championship, how would we do? We are going to find out today. Hey, how's it going? Good to have you here. Good start to the episode. We have back-to-back wins in League 2. And we are about to take on Burnley in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. I'm just hoping we don't get smashed. So, Burnley have Ramsey. They have an interesting centre-back. He's a guy I've taken a look at in the Crystal Palace save. Esteve, I want to say his name is. Looks very, very decent, and it looks like he's starting today. Yeah, Maxime Esteve. Jordan Bayer is a good centre-back as well. James Trafford, a goalkeeper that I really like. Josh Brownhill, of course, in the side. Josh Cullen as well. Luca Kolyosho on the bench. Lyle Foster on the bench. Jay Rodriguez on the bench as well. I would love a wish list, particularly of players that we could bring in on loan, if it's possible, for you to put one of those together. What would really be handy is a list of young, sort of 21 and under Premier League and Championship players who we could bring in on loan and possibly on a loan to buy deal. You know, high potential, but within the kind of youth ranks of a Premier League or Championship club. I mean, it's completely up to you, of course. Don't put any time or effort into that unless you really want to. But that would be very handy to have. not just for January here, but going forward as well. I mean, we're going to be utilising loans frequently over the course of the first few seasons at the very least. And I mean, probably even into the Championship whenever we happen to get there. But this is going to be an interesting test. Predictions in the chat. How do we think this game is going to finish? Give me a scoreline. What are you thinking? I'm going to predict a narrow 2-1 victory for Burnley. I'd like to get the win. I think we have to be realistic, though. I'm predicting a 2-1 win for Burnley. What are we thinking? Kabore tries to use his muscle to just lever the Burnley midfielder off the ball. Jamie Burns evades the Burnley press and finds El Fakiri. Burns once more. I'm kind of regretting going out in the away kit for this one now, because with Burnley's white shorts, it's a bit more of a clash than really it seems like it should be. Kabore. Lots of possession to start the game. We haven't really managed to do anything. 4-0 Burnley. Come on. You haven't got to do me like that. We haven't managed to do anything with our possession, but we've had a decent amount of possession to start the game, and that's a really good challenge from Kabore, who continues to play excellently. El Fakiri with the run in behind. Sean Rose finds him. It's a pinpoint pass. We said it numerous times against Shillingham. It's a poor touch from El Fakiri. Really poor touch. He's been disappointing down that left-hand side. Good challenge from Sean Rose, though. How do you get loaned out in career mode? Do you mean in player career mode? If so, I have no idea. I never play player career mode. I'm not a massive fan. I don't find it engaging at all. But potentially somebody else in the chat can help. How do we get loaned out in player career mode? Is it even possible to get loaned out in player career mode? I assume it's completely out of your hands, I would assume. Sean Rose. Ademola Kabore. Couple of runners ahead. One of whom is Kai Fry, and he does collect. And he just fires across the keeper and hits the post. And El Fakiri takes the lead for Redmont Rangers 12 minutes into the game. Get your 2-0s, get your 4-0s out of here. Get your 7-0s out of here. This isn't the Palace save. This is Redmont Rangers. This is a whole different... I want to say kettle of fish, but that doesn't seem right. I swear that's the phrase, but what can that possibly mean? But we are... I mean, my prediction is still on. I said 2-1. We fulfilled our side of the bargain. Come on, Burnley, fulfill yours. Excellent start to the game. Lots of possession. First opportunity, really, we bury. Bit of fortune. Kai Fry hits the post, and it's Nnamdi El Fakiri, who's had a disappointing start to the episode, who grabs the rebound and puts it in the back of the net. Let's just lob it up for Dave Williamson. Oh, causing issues for James Trafford. Dave Williamson, always a danger when the ball is in the air. And there's El Fakiri's finish again. Clinical. Kai Fry delivers. Kabore can't win the header on this occasion. Jamie Burns will recycle, though. How is he offside? You cannot be offside there. You simply cannot be offside there. It's Jordan Beyer absolutely sprinting to mark Dave Williamson, who would have kept Kai Fry on. Williamson applying the pressure. Oh, steals it away as well. Forces it out for a Burnley throw. Esteve finds Cullen. Sean Rose has been a bit quiet the last couple games. It's really since we've moved him into that deep line playmaker role. That's a good ball up towards Fleming. Stokes deals with it. And a pressed A to make the challenge. And he's ended up passing it out of play. We'll take the corner though. Better safe than sorry. Just put it out of play. Boateng once more. Pierce there to defend. It's a Burnley man on the floor in the box. Carried away by Callum Broad. And Hobbs will just hook clear. And Sean Rose will win the header. And Burns will find El Fakiri. A little bit of Burnley danger. The first sign of danger really from Burnley in the game. Excellent run from El Fakiri. And again we'll just loft it up. This time James Trafford does collect safely. Hobbs wins the header though. Finds Sean Rose. El Fakiri. I love that run from Kai Fry. I think that took a deflection though. I hope it took a deflection. If not, that's one of the worst passes I've ever seen from Nnamdi El Fakiri. It challenged Kai Fry though. We are not letting Burnley play football. We are getting stuck into them. Sean Rose puts the ball straight out of play. Continues his poor run of form, really. That's excellent from Kai Fry, and Dave Williamson is going to be offside. Just looking to play it through immediately. Looking to take advantage of the little bit of fortune we got there. Dave Williamson went a little too early. Kai Fry took a little too long to get it out of his feet. Was the message about the wish list? If so, I would love a wish list of players that we could loan from Premier League and Championship clubs. So we're going to have to utilise the loan market frequently in League 2, League 1, even into the Championship. So that would be massively helpful if we could get a list of players kind of aged 21 and younger who are in the youth ranks of Championship and Premier League clubs that we could realistically loan and potentially loan to buy. That would be incredibly useful. However, only do that if you want to put the time and the effort into it. There's obviously no obligation for you to do that whatsoever. But it would be extremely useful and it would be very much appreciated if you did want to put the time and the effort into that. Jamie Burns. Charlie Pierce, one touch. I was kind of hoping the Burnley player would get a little tighter there to Pierce. Just one touch to get it out of his feet and then curl it with his right foot towards the far corner. Burnley player just kind of stood off though. And it didn't really play into our hands there. We continue to possess the lead though at Turf Moor in the third round of the FA Cup. That's a great challenge, Brandon Stokes. And games like this, especially if we win them, are actually going to be more important than they usually would because we are using core DNA. You know, just winning this game, just in a regular career mode save, wouldn't be that impactful. But yeah, it's great to get to the fourth round of the FA Cup, but with Core DNA's budget calculator, you know, Core DNA sets your budget each season and it takes into account things like prize money. For such a small club, you know, it's like real life. For a League 2 club, making the fourth round of the FA Cup is going to be Williamson doubles the lead. Huge fortune. No idea how that fell to Williamson, but it did. And he absolutely buried it. I think it's Jordan Beyer. Is it? I think it's Jordan Beyer. He's tried to clear the ball and he's just got his feet tangled underneath him. Makes a complete hash of it. Kicks his own foot rather than the ball, it looked like. Tumbles to the ground. And Dave Williamson is there to snap up the loose ball and absolutely fire it past James Trafford in off the post. So we are 2-0 up. at Turf Moor in the third round of the FA Cup. So like I was saying, progressing is going to be as significant to us with the core DNA budgets as it would a real-life League 2 side. The more money we make in prize money this season, the more money we will have in our transfer budget next season. And you do, of course, get a moderate amount of prize money for each round of the FA Cup that you progress to. By Fry, knocks it down for Williamson, who hits it on the turn. And it's a free kick to Burnley. But that moderate prize money is not going to be quite so moderate for us with such a tiny budget to start. Jamie Burns deals with it. Lino flags, though. Yeah, for sure. I will DM you on Discord. I appreciate it. Benson for Burnley. Completely sends El Fakiri. Laurent. Cullen. Finds Brownhill. Hutchinson does well just to take the advanced option away and send the ball backwards instead. Cullen once more. Laurent. Burnley struggling to break us down. We've got Kabore and Sean Rose doing the hard yards in midfield. Nicely worked, though. We continue to send the ball backwards. But Brownhill slips it through to Fleming, and it's a big save from Callum Broad. We were doing well to send the ball backwards. Burnley suddenly break through the lines, though. Does look as though they have an injury, so we are going to see Luca Koleosho. Some big performances in the Crystal Palace save in recent weeks from Luca Koleosho. Hobbs heads clear at the near post. And here is Koleosho. Poor from him there, though. We are doing well in the Crystal... Well, we're kind of doing well in the Crystal Palace save. If you haven't seen the Crystal Palace save, we have a realistic career mode going with Crystal Palace, utilising ChatGPT. So we have Steve Parish, the owner and CEO. We have Dougie Friedman. They are providing assistance to Ollie Glasner via ChatGPT. And we are currently in Season 2. And we are deep in the Carabao Cup. We have just made it through to... I forget where we are. I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. But we are deep in the Carabao Cup. Next episode is going up tomorrow. However, I forget exactly where we are. Because I do record episodes in advance. So by the time they go out on YouTube, I have usually recorded at least one additional episode. Sometimes even two. Kai Fry with the free kick. Edge of the box. Chance to give us a third goal in the game. We'll have a second chance to do so. Kabore collects. He's been quiet today. And the referee's half-time whistle goes. I appreciate the offer. I don't think we have a massive need for mods in the Discord, to be honest. But if it gets bigger and busier, then I will certainly take you up on that. But out for the second half. Burnley struggling to create opportunities in that first period. And I think one thing we might do for the next game that we play is bump the build-up speed up to 50. Because that's one thing I have noticed with this version 4.1. Sometimes the CPU teams don't quite create enough opportunities in the game. And we did see that with Burnley, just kind of passing the ball around in midfield through Cullen, Laurent, Brownhill. and not really looking to penetrate. So I think a modest increase to the build-up speed could address that. So we'll try out 50 for the remaining games in today's episode in terms of the build-up speed, and see if that makes a positive difference. But now, though, it's very much playing into our hands because we have a 2-goal advantage. I also don't want to... I don't want CPU teams to build up too quickly, though. At various times this year, we have just seen... Well, headed clear by Hutchinson. Brownhill beats Sean Rose and lays it inside to Fleming. Parried away by Callum Broad, though. At various points this year, we have seen CPU teams just kind of playing it into the feet of their striker immediately. And that's something I very much want to guard against. I do want the CPU teams to build up, to play through the lines. It's just obviously we can't have that happening. Everything in moderation. We can't have them just building up. We do need them to play through the lines at some point. Headed clear after Kai Fry's cross. And Benson comes away for Burnley. Sean Rose tracking back. I think we're going to bring El Fakiri off shortly. Maybe Sean Rose as well. He is doing the hard yards in midfield, but he's not making a massive impact on the game. Neither, to be fair, is Kabore. Cullen, Brownhill, Laurent, they've had the better of us in midfield for sure. So let's actually make a change or two now. That's the narrowest offside I've ever seen. I've seen some narrow ones on FC25, but that has to be the most narrow offside I've ever seen. He's actually going back towards his own goal, and he's caught offside by his heel. That's so harsh. Let's bring El Fakiri off for Charles Mann, and let's bring Tommy Hooper on. Let's go for Kabore for now. I think we'll leave Sean Rose on. Charles Mann has been something of an unlikely star in the series so far. We'll see if that continues or if it's just a flash in the pan. I wouldn't be surprised if it is just a flash in the pan. It's just a 61 overall, but sometimes players just outplay their overall. We've seen that in the Crystal Palace save with Roscoe Torres. Completely outplayed his overall. Started out as a 67 in the save, I believe. I think he's up to about a 72 now. And he still plays slightly better than that, I would say. When he was a 67, he was playing, you know, like he was a mid-70s overall player. And I think he's playing the same now, so it's not quite as impressive in terms of outperforming his overall. But still very impressive. Koleosho finds Hobbs. Not the player he was looking for. Sean Rose. There goes Charles Mann. That's a perfect pass from Sean Rose. Or not quite perfect. Close to perfect. That's why we have him in that deep line playmaker role, though. To spread those passes around. And he does collect here. Drives at the Burnley back line. Goes down on the edge of the box. Referee's whistle remains silent. I thought we could have had something there. Did try and do a little skill move. Has been pointed out in the comments, I don't use skill moves almost at all. I've been trying to add them to my arsenal recently. Just some simple feints and step overs. That's all we need for now. Maybe branch out from there a little later down the line. And I think Burnley are going to be back in the game here. I was just trying to get back on the line with Jordan Hobbs to potentially block that shot. I was never going to make it across to him to dispossess him, so I was just trying to get behind Callum Broad, but neither of us are ever getting to that. Burnley back in it. An emphatic finish, but Hutchinson and Stokes, oh, and Broad actually, by the looks of the replay, did get something on it. It didn't look that way initially, but Burnley back in the game. 25 minutes-ish left to play. And we have a 2-1 lead to try and keep hold of. Charles Mann finds Charlie Pearce. Jamie Burns. That was clearly to Charles Mann, but Charlie Pearce just insistent that he was going to pick up that pass, and I knew he was going to be offside. Utterly awful from Charlie Pierce. Just refused to let Charles Mann have the ball and then just stood in an offside position. There's the youth. There's the inexperience. So Burnley looking to draw level. Could it be 2-1 the other way? I predicted a 2-1 Burnley win in the opening portion of the game. I would certainly take a 2-1 Redmont Rangers win instead. Kai Fry. Never going to beat Luca Kolyosho for pace. Nicely worked, though. And Kai Fry just couldn't quite bring the ball under full control there. It was always just slightly ahead of him. Tommy Hooper burst through on goal, though. It's a great challenge from Esteve. And he finds James Trafford. I thought potentially if Tommy Hooper went down there, we could have a penalty. But it was just a perfectly timed challenge from the Burnley defender. Oh, and Hobbs has lunged in. And Kolyosho's beaten him. And it's Kolyosho against the 30-year-old Corey Hutchinson. And he finds Fleming, who crosses the ball rather than shoots. Oh, and Burnley put it just wide. I thought we were about to see the leveller. Fortunately not. Fortunately it flashes wide. Not sure who it was taking the shot on there. I guess it must have been Benson on the left. Charles Mann onside, in behind. Linesman's flag stays down. Charles Mann has the strength to hold off the Burnley defender and puts it wide. That would have made it comfortable. Re-establish our 2-goal lead heading into the final 20 minutes of the game. Charles Mann couldn't bury it, though. We've seen him bury multiple chances like that in recent games. Not on this occasion. A, you can't possibly give a free kick for that, Lino. And B, Jamie Burns does so well to get back and steal that ball away, because he was out of position, having gone up to challenge for the ball initially. Hobbs sells Rose short, and Fleming is in behind and puts it wide. I was all ready to say and equalises, and he doesn't. He puts it wide. We cannot afford to give the ball to Burnley like that in those situations, though. We are asking to lose this game. I mean, to be fair, a replay at Redmont Arena wouldn't be the worst thing. Ticket revenue would be handy. I would rather just progress, though. I'd rather just guarantee making it through to the next round. Stokes just hooks clear. And Kai Fry wins the header somehow. 3'5" Kai Fry wins the header. Hooper just drives. Pulls it back for Williamson, who hits the post. I thought it was certain that we had our 2-goal lead back. And Trafford snatches it out of the air. It was an excellent run from Hooper. It was ideal positioning from Williamson. Just kind of held his position, allowed the Burnley defenders to flood past him. And Hooper pulls it back. First time shot from Williamson, and it cracks the post. 10 minutes to go in the game. And again, we want a man of the match. Williamson, I think, has to be an option. I'm struggling to think of other options, to be fair. We haven't had too many particularly good performances, I don't think. Kai Fry, I think, again deserves a shout out. So we'll get him on the list. Teddy Hooper's been influential since coming off the bench. I think it wouldn't be the worst idea to add him to the poll. And then defensively, Hobbs, Burns, one of the centre-backs. Callum Broad hasn't had too much to do today. I can't really think of an excellent save that he's made. Sean Rose has been quiet. Charlie Pierce the same. I mean, going through our players' performances, it's tough to understand how we are 2-1 ahead. Because I can't think of... Kai Fry wins the header again. How is he winning so many headers? Dave Williamson. Can he thread that through to Charlie Pierce? He can. And Pierce hits it straight at Trafford. Let's make another change or two here. Let's get the poll for man of the match in the comments as well. Port Vale will be the next game that we play. But I think man of the match versus we are playing Burnley has to be either Williamson, Fry, Stokes, or let's go Hooper off the bench. Get your votes in now for man of the match versus Burnley. Dave Williamson, the goal scorer. Kai Fry has had a good game up and down that right-hand side. I think he is going to make way for Blake Bird here, though. And Sean Rose is going to make way for Seymour. Let's put... In fact, I'm going to put Blake Bird up front. I'm going to move Hooper out to the right. And I'm going to put Webb on in midfield. So Brandon Stokes, the centre-back, I think has had a very good game as well. He's an option for man of the match, as is Hooper off the bench. Claimed by James Trafford. Just 2 minutes to go. And he puts it straight out of play. Seymour, back to man. And we just want to keep possession. Burnley need to come and get it. Hutchinson. Hobbs, back to Hutchinson and all the way back to Broad. 3 minutes of added time. And we are into those minutes already. Webb finds Stokes. Hutchinson once more. Burnley sending men forward to apply the pressure. Luca Kolyosho chasing Jordan Hobbs down. And Webb has just completely let it run. No clue why, but Webb lets it run. Gifts Burnley possession. When we had an opportunity just to keep hold of it and see the game out. It's an embarrassing shot. That is absolutely embarrassing. As if that was the last kick of the game. What an anticlimax. Just the tamest effort you'll ever see. In the most high leverage spot. Burnley's final possession, the final opportunity to get themselves level. And that was what they do with it. So Dave Williamson sees us through to the next round. After Namdi El Fakiri opened the scoring in the first half. I guess he was potentially an option for man of the match. Didn't have a massive impact though. But currently we have Dave Williamson, the overwhelming winner with 86% of the votes. Hooper gets a couple of votes himself though. But yeah, with 50% possession and about 50 more passes than us, Burnley create half as many opportunities. So I'm not going to complain too much because it has seen us through to the next round of the FA Cup.
Just a couple of questions for you.
But I don't want the match facts to continue to look like that. So we're going to bump the build-up speed up to 50 for the next couple of games and see what kind of a difference that makes. We'll play one more game here in
That'll be all, thank you.
January, where we will be taking on Port Vale. And so we'll see what difference it makes in that particular game. So build-up speed back up to the default of 50. And we'll see what that does. We are still looking to bring in a couple of players here in January. And it's awkward because we don't really know anything about any of these players. Bogard we can bring in on loan. He was a suggestion in the chat. We do have a massive budget as well. This is something I have pointed out before, but we have a 45 million budget. When I set up the save, I did a 50 million financial takeover just to make sure we had ample money to do whatever we want with. But we are going with the budget set in core DNA. So we only have 3.5 million in the bank. 45 million, it's just cosmetic, essentially. But I wanted to make sure I had more than enough money to hire the coaches, hire the scouts. Just to plan for any eventuality, essentially. Let's see if we can get him in. Oh my god, it's so much money. They will take a deal of a 40-60 split, though. So we could bring in Lamar Bogard. I really would like a wide midfielder. And I think we need a striker. Jay Stansfield. Would he be a player that would be a realistic loan option at this point? I'm not overly familiar with Stansfield or Birmingham. Does he play often for Birmingham? Would he be a realistic loanee option, or would he be a player that we would have to buy? I assume he probably plays for Birmingham. Forsyth, I really would like Schwartau. Maybe let's go back and see if Norwich have changed their mind. So let's try again a short-term loan. They wanted... Yeah, see, again, they want us to pay 80%. It's just not going to happen. Maybe we'd go to... Yeah, no, it's just not going to happen. I really would like a wide midfielder. I mean, Tony Springer, I can't imagine he's going to have a particularly high overall. However, he can play down either flank, but his contract is actually expiring, so here's a player that we could just bring in for free come the end of the season. So let's input... Well, I mean, I guess... what's he called? Bogard. He hasn't arrived just yet. So we won't input that into core DNA just yet. We will wait for Bogard to arrive. But Grimsby, the next game. Again, should be a game that we win, but it is going to be in the quick sim. And you just never know with the quick sim. Tough to predict the results often. But again, we will try and make sure everybody is fit and ready to go so we can have the strongest 11 out there, give ourselves the best possible opportunity to come away with a result. And we could potentially even play Ethan Saint in this game. Because he has returned from training, or he has returned to training rather. Has not yet been available to actually play. But that could change. Alright, good to see you, man. I will DM you. Probably tomorrow. But yeah, again, I appreciate it. Thanks for dropping by. We're fine with those contracts. And this is going to be Bogard. So Bogard does arrive. Young CDM from Aston Villa. Not sure CDM was our biggest need heading into January. But was a suggestion in the chat. Could provide some much needed depth for us. And most of our depth, to be fair, at centre midfield is more... They're more attacking options that we have currently. So he does get the number 18. So players like Blake Bird, Teddy Hooper, Charles Mann, they're attacking options. We don't have a huge amount of depth in terms of defensive options at centre midfield. We do have Richard Seymour. He's primarily a centre-back, though. And what are we looking at in terms of overall? 67. He will fit right in. 64 pace, 61 passing, 65 dribbling, 65 defending, 72 physical. He looks more than decent at 21 years of age. He's on 32k. He is a Premier League player, I guess. But imagine being a 21-year-old at a Premier League club making 30 grand a week, but not even playing for the first team. That is wild. But I like the addition. Saint's still not back. I like the addition. So he will replace Seymour on the bench. Webb, Bird, man, we need a striker. We need a striker. Especially playing two up top. Stansfield signed for 15 million. Okay, yeah, we're not going after Stansfield. How did Birmingham pay 15 million for a striker? That's wild. That's wild. So Stansfield not an option. I mean, we'll leave him on the shortlist just in case it becomes realistic for us to buy him later down the line. Burstow is another striker that I have as a potential option to bring in up front. But absolutely let me know if there are any other options that you think are realistic. I think we need a low knee striker to provide a little bit more depth. And to prevent us from having to play Ellis Lewis, who I think is just awful. Yusuf Chamiti of Everton. I like the idea, and he is loan listed. I think this could be our guy. He is very much in the Dave Williamson mold. So maybe wouldn't be Cucho Hernandez for Fulham. Maybe wouldn't be the best option to pair a Jonathan David to Arsenal. Maybe wouldn't be the best option to pair with Dave Williamson because that striker on the left does tend to be more of a centre forward than a true striker. Is set to false nine, is set to build up. So kind of drops into midfield to collect and to kind of dictate the play a little bit more, but would certainly be an additional option in that right-sided striker position. Orban to Everton. Parkinson, Patrick Schick to Chelsea. Schick is always a player that I want to buy in career modes and never do, but I really should because he's such a fun player. I don't really see any other realistic options in the Premier League, but let's check out the Championship as well. Yusuf Chamiti currently the front runner though. We ideally want it to be a youngster. But I guess it could be a player with some experience as well. But ideally, I'd like a youngster that we could potentially bring in on a permanent deal in the summer if they are successful with us. Keon Etite is also a player in the Dave Williamson mold. But again, I think he probably plays a little too often for Cardiff to make that realistic. Caden Jackson would be a more experienced option. Daniel Jebison, we signed for Redmont Rangers last year on FC24, and he was something of a revelation. Oh, Matanovic is a player we looked at for Crystal Palace. He signed for Watford. Jebison was something of a revelation for us, and then we sold him on for a massive profit. I'm not seeing anybody that jumps out. Yeah, I think Chamiti is the one to go for, to be honest. Ellis Sims. Dane Scarlett, is he already on loan at Oxford? He is. I think Dane Scarlett could have been a good option to play in that left-sided striker role. In fact, I'm going to put him on the shortlist because although we can't grab him now, he could be a good option for next year. Naki Wells is also somebody I'll be interested in. He is 34. But again, could be an option for next season. Potentially for one of those free agent signings. if we do manage to achieve that objective to allow us to sign those 2 free agents. Let's see if we can bring in Chimiti, though. He's not willing to move to a league that isn't competitive enough for his skills, but he might be forced to do so on loan. Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. Understandable that he wouldn't want to sign for us permanently, but come and play some football, Yusuf. Let's try and get 40% of his wages. Let's go. 60-40 again. And Mohamed Toure, an option as well. Let's add him to the shortlist at the very least. But it does look like Yusuf Chimiti is going to be the guy. Toure, yeah. Here we go. So 20-year-old Mohamed Toure. So let's add him to the shortlist as well at the very least. Still no options or offers rather for any of our players, which I guess is a good thing. We're not desperate to sell anybody by any means, and Yusuf Chimiti does arrive. So another big man up top. And I mean, we don't have to play with a false 9 on the left-hand side. We could certainly play with Chimiti and Williamson up front, and we could always adjust that particular player role and play with the 2 big men. But he gets the number 21 shirt. And hopefully he's going to bang in a few goals for us. So this would be a player that I think if we make it up to League 1 next season, could potentially be open to playing for us. And could be reasonably priced at the very least. Hey, Chesney, how's it going? New star player. What is his overall? 73. Oh my god, what have we done? We signed a 73 overall. This is the problem with having the scouting on slow. We're just kind of rolling the dice. So Chimiti immediately becomes the best player in League 2. And I mean, we can't not start him, can we? He's a 73 overall. He immediately becomes our best player, obviously. 6 better than our best overall, Sean Rose. Chimiti is going to absolutely destroy League 2, I think. So, let's get him off false 9. I assume he's going to want to play target. Oh, he's actually a poacher. He's actually a poacher. Interesting. So Dave Williamson, advanced forward. Yusuf Chimiti, poacher. I actually love it. I actually love it. So let's get to Grimsby. And let's quick sim this game. And it's a 0-0 draw. I don't hate it, to be fair. Unbeaten in League 2 so far in the episode. Which brings us still to second position in League 2. 3 points ahead of MK Dons, but they do have a game in hand. 4 points behind first place Fleetwood Town. And Port Vale were the winners of the previous poll. So we will quick sim this game against Crew, but it's a quick turnaround between the Crew game and the Port Vale game. So potentially we're going to have to plan ahead here, because I would like our strongest 11, obviously, at my disposal for the Port Vale game. So we might need to rotate a little bit for Crew. So let's play probably our less than strongest 11 against Crew. Let's try and get everybody fit at the very least. We should probably check the inbox as well. New message from Pierce. What does he want? Oh, Ethan Saint is fit again. Neither of you are going to be playing, Charlie, I'm afraid. You are now 4th string, and even Ethan Saint is now going to be a bench player with the arrival of Chimiti. So you're probably not going to get a look in, mate, I'm afraid. Still no offers for our players. Oh, and we do need to input those into Core DNA, actually. Bear with me. So where are we? Here we are. So we need to go to buy. This is the first time I've done this on Core DNA 2.0, so it might be slightly different from before. And it is a lot more detailed than before, so it might take me a minute to work out here what we're doing. But we are going with Yusuf Chamiti. And this should input all the information, or at least the majority of the information for us. This is a big upgrade from version 1 to version 2 of Core DNA. Version 1, you had to input everything yourself, whereas now it autofills a decent amount for you. We probably should have done this before, to be fair. He was loan listed. So we are getting him from Everton. We probably should have done this before, because it might tell us now that it's unrealistic. But it's kind of tough now. 1 season loan is the only option there, rather than a half season loan. It is the winter transfer window. Everton aren't in an international competition. They are currently in the Premier League. I don't think it really matters what formation they play. And then... So wage offer. I assume we have to put in here the wages that we are paying Chamiti. Which is... He's on 27.5, and we are paying, what was it, 40% of that, right? So we're paying, what, about 12,000? Let's go 12. Offered role, he's going to be crucial. Signing bonus, we have an error. I'm not sure that matters. Submit. I think this is right. Error. Okay. All right, we might just have to leave this for now. It's looking like we're going to have to leave this for now. And I'm going to have to sort this out off cam. So yeah, I'll sort that out off camera. I'll get the wages sorted. I'll get the squad sorted. I'll iron out those bugs. But we will have the correct wage budget going forward. Damn, up to an 88. Yeah, I'm not sure we're going to see him get quite that high. However, he could be a permanent Redmont Rangers player going forward, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. So I think let's rotate the 11 for this one. I definitely want to see Chamiti and Williamson play together. So let's go with... Who's going to have the most stamina between Chamiti? He's only got 61 stamina. All right, so we're going to drop Chamiti for this game. Let's play Bogard as well against Port Vale. So we'll leave him in there. El Fakiri can play. Kai Fry can come out for, I think, Hooper. Let's bring out Hutchinson for Hardy. And let's bring out Burns for Hurst. Let's make those changes at the very least. And quick sim this game against Crew. And it's another draw. Ethan Saint gets a goal on his return to action for Redmont Rangers. We do just manage a point against Crew, but we are still unbeaten in League 2 in the episode, which is not bad at all. And Reggie Seymour is annoyed with the games he's getting. We probably should have put him in the squad, to be fair, against Crew. Because that's the other thing. In addition to the wages, everybody's a crucial player on this team. And that's going to prove problematic. Because everybody's going to want to play almost every game. So we might not necessarily have a fully fit 11 here by the time we get to the Port Vale game, but that's absolutely fine. That's why we rotated some players out for this one. Dave Williamson will start, as will Yusuf Chamiti, as will Bogard, and other than that, I think we're going to be good. So, final game of January. I believe still no offers for our players. Indeed, still no offers for our players. So, let's go with Bogard ahead of Rose. We'll go with Williamson and Chamiti up front. We'll go with, I wanted Blake Bird on the left-hand side. But actually, he's not particularly fit either. So, we'll actually go with El Fakiri. We'll go with Hobbs. Yeah, we'll go with this 11. Let's put Seymour on the bench and bring him on. That will ameliorate his frustrations to some extent. Rose on the bench, Webb on the bench, Bird and Pierce. Pierce. Why do I not see Pierce? Where is... Oh, that is Pierce. Idiot. Okay. So, decent month so far. Beat Burnley in the FA Cup. Who do we have in the FA Cup? Oh my God, it's Arsenal. Oh my God. Could we have got a tougher draw? I think almost certainly not. Round 4 of the FA Cup. We could have had Salford. We could have had Crew. We could have had Stevenage. We could have even had Bolton, Crawley, Millwall, Hull. We get Arsenal. A trip to the Emirates, then, is on the cards for today's episode. First, though, is Crew Alexandra. And the debut of both Yusuf Chamiti and Lamar Bogard, possibly. Forgetting his first name. But Bogard, Chamiti about to make their debuts for Redmont Rangers as we look to remain unbeaten in the month of January here in League 2. I'm glad you are loving the sliders. We went through some slight adjustments to the sliders at the very beginning of the stream. So keep an eye on the community tab on my channel or on the Discord. If you're in the Discord, I'll be posting the updates there. They are just extremely minor changes to some of the line values. Is that a Bogard tifo already? The Redmont fans already taking a shine to the Aston Villa loanee. They put that together quick. So, the debut of Yusuf Chamiti and of Bogard. I'm going to have to learn his name. I can't just keep calling him just Bogard. And we do have, of course, the 50 build-up speed, and I think we've seen that already there. Port Vale immediately looking to play a ball in behind. Kai Fry finds Jordan Hobbs on the right-hand side. Plows forward, lofts it up towards Dave Williamson, and gets it nowhere close. Bogard wins the header. Nnamdi El Fakiri ahead of him. But it's Bogard once more. Bogard and Kabore, the combination in midfield today. Jordan Hobbs up in support. Loft it into the box looking for either Chamiti or Dave Williamson. We're going to have ample targets in the box to aim for today. Should be a huge danger, not just from crosses from open play, but from set pieces as well. Because with both Chamiti and Dave Williamson up front, supplemented by the likes of Corey Hutchinson and Brandon Stokes coming up from the back, we should prove to be a threat for pretty much any team in the league. Chamiti with the running behind, decently pacey for such a big man. I think he's got 70 pace. Not sure how that breaks down in terms of sprint speed and acceleration, but pretty sure he's got 70 pace overall. And technically good for the level at which we're playing at the very least. How well his technical ability stands up in the Premier League is tough to say. But in League 2, I think he'll be more than sufficient in terms of the technical side of his game as well. Kai Fry is going to look for him in the air. Fails to find him. We can't just be putting crosses in, though. The temptation with Williamson and Chamiti up front is just going to be to lob crosses into the box every time we get the opportunity. We need to continue to play football. Kabore loses out, though. Port Vale very much struggling in the league this year. We need to take full advantage. We need to put them to the sword, really. Kabore looking to do exactly that. Finds Williamson. Burns. Williamson once more. Loses out. Been a bit of a sloppy start to the game. Neither team really able to find any kind of flow or rhythm in possession just yet. Kabore dropping in. Port Vale already looking a little more dangerous going forward than previous teams that were faced in the episode. And Callum Broad has to come out and sprawl in front of the Port Vale striker to prevent him from taking the lead already in the game. Couple of good runs from Bogard and from Chamiti. Opens up the space in behind for El Fakiri to run into. And it's lobbed up towards the back post by Kai Fry. And Williamson doesn't even get it on target. Oh, the goal was at his mercy. The goalkeeper was coming across, scrambling across the face of his goal to try and get something on that. But Dave Williamson completely let him off the hook. And nods it wide. An excellent opportunity goes begging. Really should be 1-0 up 15 minutes into the game. Kabore applying the pressure from midfield, stealing the ball away as well. Gifting it straight back to Port Vale though. And Hobbs can't win it. And he's going to have to bust the gut to get back in position. Thankfully he has done so. Bogard just funnels the Port Vale attacker towards Brandon Stokes. And we do now have men in the box to defend. Nnamdi El Fakiri is tucking in as well. And now we can force Port Vale back a little. Bogard beaten. Stokes the same. It's a decent shot from range. Over the bar though. Hutchinson. Hobbs. Oh my days. If Port Vale score here, thankfully they put it over again. I would have been so mad. It was another one of those manual passing nightmares where you power it up just before the ball gets there, but the ball arrives just before you're done powering up. So it just ends up tapping the ball forwards. Kabore. Nice little run from Kai Fry, hugging the touchline. And again, I want to avoid just putting the ball in the box, but in this kind of a situation, I mean, what else are we going to do but cross it in? Dealt with well by Port Vale, though. And with both Kabore and Bogard in midfield today, I think we kind of don't have too many creative options. Kabore very much the engine of the midfield, but Sean Rose, that creative fulcrum. Bogard a defensive option. So we don't really have that kind of creativity, that player that can pick the lock of opposing defences today. So that might cause us an issue. That might be another reason just to work the ball wide and put crosses in, to be fair. Kabore. Chamiti. Turns and shoots. Just blocked by Port Vale, though. They're comfortable. Just setting up camp on the edge of their penalty area. They're comfortable. We're not causing them anywhere near enough problems at the moment. And that continues. Still early days, though. Just 25 minutes into the game. No reason to panic just yet. But I was anticipating this being a little more comfortable than it has been so far. Good challenge, Corey Hutchinson. Kai Fry will drive and skip away from one Port Vale defender. He manages to get back and get the foot in, though. Good challenge in the end. Low. And Brandon Stokes beaten. Corey Hutchinson comes across, but it's played in behind. And Jordan Hobbs can't get a foot in either. Eventually he can. Kai Fry finds Kabore, and we've got El Fakiri up in support. But Kai Fry is free on the right hand side. Kabore once more. It's a good run through the middle from Chamiti. And it's a poor challenge from the Port Vale man, but Kabore gets straight back up. Burst through on goal, squares it for Chamiti, who scores. Not in his debut, but in the first game in which we have played with the use of Chamiti at the very least. So already making an impact. That was all Ademola Kabore, though. He was fouled. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a booking for the Port Vale man who fouled Kabore. But regardless, he got straight back up on his feet, continued to drive into the Port Vale box. Squares it for Chamiti, who taps home. Off to a fantastic start in the Redmont Rangers shirt. And we will see a booking for the Port Vale player. It is Lamar Bogard. Lamar, I assume, rather than Lamare, with the E at the end. But we'll go with Lamar for now. So we do have the lead. Currently unbeaten in League 2 in the month of January. Couple of somewhat disappointing draws against Grimsby and Crewe Alexandra. But it all depends how the rest of the month goes. Really good little run in behind from Williamson. Not sure if the linesman's flag would have gone up if Williamson managed to get on the end of that. But I think if he managed to get on the end of that, it would have ended up in the back of the net. So there would have been a decision for the linesman to make. Really good feet from Bogard. And Kabore steals it away. And he just does not give up on possession. Lofted towards Bogard, who headed it. I wanted him to hit it on the volley. It was a perfectly placed cross from El Fakiri. I saw Bogard stealing in on the edge of the box. I just wanted to loft it up to him and have him hit it on the volley with his left foot. And I thought we timed it well enough to achieve that. But instead, he goes with the header. And it's a tame one, straight at the keeper. Port Vale looking to square it before half-time then. Corey Hutchinson heading clear. And El Fakiri collects. Kai Fry on the right-hand side. Port Vale not really committing bodies forward, though. That's a poor pass. Sloppy in possession, as we have been all game. Great challenge from Bogard, though. Port Vale aren't really committing bodies forward. So we are not exactly finding success on the counter-attack today. Port Vale pretty much just leaving their entire back four in to defend. It does mean they're struggling to create opportunities, but Does mean we're struggling to create opportunities on the counter-attack. Dave Williamson, back post, can't win it. Kai Fry volley, wide. Good effort. Good effort on the volley from Kai Fry. Can't find the target though. Bogard. Kai Fry makes the run in behind. Bogard just continues and gets the shot away. Williamson down on his chest. And El Fakiri can't win the header. Jamie Burns has to retreat to his left back position. Does so to take that option away. Oh, but Corey Hutchinson has lunged for the challenge. Missed the ball completely. But thankfully we've delayed the attack for long enough to get players back. I look dangerous for a moment. That's a good challenge from Stokes. But Port Vale get the luck of the bounce. Thankfully it's a tame shot in the end. Kai Fry. Final opportunity to drive at the Port Vale back line. And we just retain possession with Hobbs. There's Bogard. And the referee's half-time whistle goes. I was going to try and set that up for Jamie Burns to get a shot away. The referee blew his whistle before I could do so. But 1-0 up at half-time. Is the sporting director not available? Do you mean the ChatGPT sporting director like we're doing in the Crystal Palace save? If so, then no, he's not available. We're not doing the ChatGPT stuff in this particular playthrough. Instead, we're using Buzzco's Core DNA companion tool in lieu of ChatGPT. So Blake Bird comes on at half-time for Nnamdi El Fakiri. Other than that, we remain unchanged for the second period. Crunching challenge from the Port Vale defender. Does win the ball though. Yusuf Chamiti in behind. Dave Williamson in the box. Chamiti can't pick him out. We really could use a second goal here in the second half, just to make things a little more comfortable. Again, it's a game we really should be winning. But as long as it remains 1-0, there's always the chance that Port Vale nick a goal. Blake Bird. Can't find Chamiti. It was the wrong option, to be fair. I knew it as soon as I pressed it. Edwards for Port Vale. Can't quite find his way in behind. Low. Beats Bogard. Bogard's been decent enough in midfield, to be fair. He's very mobile. And the seas part for the Port Vale attacker. Thankfully, he opts to try and pass the ball. And as I was just trying to shift Brandon Stokes into a slightly better position there, we just kind of inadvertently make the interception. Chamiti gets to the byline, finds Bird. There's Bogard. And Kabore takes a touch, gets the shot away, and it's blocked. Decent football. Couldn't quite make the opportunity pay, though. Here's Bogard once more. Finds Blake Bird. He drives at the Port Vale back line, pulls it back across goal. Couple of deflections, sends it out for a corner. Port Vale to make a change of their own. Ronan Curtis to come on. Kai Fry to loft the corner into the box in search of Hutchinson, who does turn the header towards goal. But it is dealt with comfortably by Port Vale. Hutchinson. Kabore. Kai Fry on the far side. Good run from Williamson. Found perfectly. Dealt with perfectly by the Port Vale defender, though. Thought Williamson was going to be able to bring that down and get a shot away. It's going to be another change for Port Vale. I think we'll make the Arsenal game the next game that we play. We'll quick sim the fixtures in the meantime. We do, of course, have the closure of the January transfer window to get to before then as well. Good ball across by Blake Bird. Williamson brings it down. And the Port Vale keeper is Johnny on the spot. Comes out to smother it at the feet of Dave Williamson. And this is the danger of playing with that false back of Jamie Burns. When we lose possession, he's completely out of position. And there is that goal that we talked about. We said we need a second one, because Port Vale could just nick a goal from a set piece or a quick counter-attack and get something out of this game that looks like that's the case. I thought the chance had gone when the Port Vale attacker nodded it down for his teammate. I thought he has to bring that down and shoot, and he didn't. He nodded it across the penalty area, but in the end it was exactly the right decision, because it was an easy finish for his teammate. And Ronan Curtis levels things up here at Redmont Arena. And we are in search of a winning goal again. Kabore finds Kai Fry. Jordan Hobbs with the run in behind. Is taken away by the Port Vale defenders though. Kabore, Burns, and Blake Bird. Bogard slips it through for Chimiti. So many Port Vale defenders back though. They're defending so deep and in so many numbers. But Hobbs will find a Port Vale shirt. Thought it was a simple pass to Kabore. Hobbs couldn't complete it. And it slipped in behind for the Port Vale man. Corey Hutchinson comes across. I think maybe got something on that. But regardless, Callum Broad makes the save at the near post. And it's taken short by Port Vale, who have the momentum in this game now. Blake Bird steals the ball away though. And could we finally hit Port Vale on a quick counter-attack? I don't think Kai Fry is quite going to have the strength to get there. Oh, he does nick it though, and the linesman's flag goes up. Harsh. Really harsh. 64 minutes in, 1-1. We can't have another disappointing draw here. I think we have to find a winning goal in this one. 3 consecutive draws against Grimsby, Crewe and Port Vale would be incredibly disappointing, to say the least. Oh, and he's done Brandon Stokes like a kipper. Jamie Burns though collects. Blake Bird. Yusuf Chimiti with the run in behind, and it's perfectly placed into his path. Chimiti just using the run of Williamson as a decoy, gets the shot away himself. And he is looking excellent in a Redmont Rangers shirt. Port Vale to make a change. We're going to do the same. Bogard to come off for Rose. He's had a decent debut. Has Bogard. However, has to leave the field here. So we'll go with the poacher. We will go again with the... We'll go with the false 9 and build up. Pierce doesn't actually have a player role at this stage. So Sean Rose and Charlie Pierce on. I probably should have put Ethan Saint there, to be fair, rather than Charlie Pierce. Oh, and that's such a poor pass again. Really sloppy in possession. It's been the story of the game today for us, really. Just have not used possession anywhere near as well as we should have. Kabore with the challenge. Pierce providing the pressure high up the pitch. Kabore doing the same. I think we might actually step up into our attacking game plan, just to get a bit more high press going. And to get a few more players in the box if we do get a set piece or two between now and the end of the game. Jamie Burns has got to get there. He doesn't. Loses out to the Port Vale wide man. And the Redmont Rangers fans do not like what they are seeing. Boos ring around Redmont Arena as Port Vale just keep possession and wind the clock down. Kai Fry. Good run from Kabore. Good run also from Yusuf Chamiti. I took far too long to find him. But he does bring it down, gets it onto his left foot. Can't quite get the shot away. An opportunity to play that in behind for Chamiti. I didn't take it. And by the time I was ready to chip that ball over the Port Vale back line, Chamiti would have been offside. Knocked down into the path of Kabore, but we couldn't quite find him. Bit more creativity in that midfield now with the presence of Sean Rose. One option as well could be to play a 4-3-3 on occasion, because with Bogard we do have a true CDM now, and we could go with Bogard into the CDM as Yusuf Chamiti spins his man. The defender has enough pace to stick with Chamiti though, and it doesn't fall for Charlie Pearce. So we do have a true CDM in Bogard, and then we could play both Kabore and Sean Rose alongside him with just one striker up front. Bird. There's Kabore. Loses out though. Jamie Burns collects. By Fry on the right hand side. Lofts it in towards Charlie Pearce, who can't win the header at the near post. Sean Rose doesn't make it for the second ball either. Kabore. Hobbs. And Burns in midfield. Again, Port Vale just defending so deep. By Fry looks for Chamiti, who's offside. Shame. Real shame. Still searching for that winner. 10 minutes left on the clock. The Redmont Rangers fans in full voice now. They were booing moments ago, but fully get behind their team as we search for a winner. Again, trying to establish ourselves in the automatic promotion places. Too many draws like this one, and we're going to see ourselves slip out of the automatic places and into the playoffs, which is the bare minimum expectation for this season. But we are really looking for automatic. We'll take the free kick. 5 minutes to go. I guess we'll bring Bentley on for Hobbs as our final change of the game. So Kai Fry to deliver from wide. Offset up towards Blake Bird, who doesn't win the header. Sean Rose does, and there's nobody there. Didn't expect him to win that, to be fair. Good challenge from Bentley. Finds Pearce. Lofted over towards Chamiti. Pulls it back onto his left, and it's a good challenge from the Port Vale defender. And his teammates love it. Deborah getting the foot in. Kai Fry to deliver. Sean Rose to challenge, but failed to win the header. Charlie Pearce collects. Finds Kai Fry once more, who looks for Kabore. Dealt with by Port Vale though, and out for another corner. We do actually have another change to make. Let's bring on Frankie Webb as well then. Decent enough performance from Kabore. Kai Fry almost found Webb. Jamie Burns has got to get there, and he does. Just about. We'll take another corner if we can get one. We can't, but we will find Chamiti, who puts his header over. He rose highest. And he won the header against the odds. Couldn't turn it on target though. So it does look like rather, the game is going to ebb away into a disappointing draw. It's a game that we've controlled, but we said if we don't grab a second, there's every chance that Port Vale could nick one. Oh, come on, he's completely blocked him off, ref. We had Chamiti running in behind there. Blake Bird trying to find him. The Port Vale defender just completely blocks him off the ball. Blake Bird. Can we find Chamiti at the back post? Potentially parried away by the keeper. One by Pearce. Hit on the turn by Chamiti and blocked. Potentially one final opportunity still. 2.5 minutes deep into 3 minutes of stoppage time. Frankie Webb just gets it wide. Pulls it back to Chamiti. It does fall to him. Back to Kai Fry, who snatches at the shot, and it's wide. And it is a draw. A disappointing draw. We had the better Port Vale in that one. We really should have won the game. Really should have won the game. But we failed to take our opportunities. Port Vale took theirs. They did look a little more dangerous going forward in this one. We dominated possession. We had twice as many shots as Port Vale, but we dominated the game and we had possession. I think the 50 build-up speed is probably a positive change. We'll keep it that way. It'll be interesting to see how that looks against Arsenal.
Just a moment of your time.
So, a little bit disappointing so far in League 2, despite the fact that we are currently unbeaten. We failed to put 3 points on the board as often as we would have liked in this episode so far. And we have Bradford in 3 days' time. The closure of the January transfer window will occur ahead of then. So I think we'll play this Arsenal game. And what have we played so far? We've played 3 games so far. I think we've probably only got time to play one more, though, to be honest. So I think we'll play this Arsenal game and we will quick sim all League 2 fixtures in the month of February. I really wouldn't mind bringing in a midfielder. However, we do currently have 2 loan players. I think let's leave it there. I think let's leave it there for arrivals in January. I don't want to go overboard, especially in terms of loan players. We are looking to turn a profit in this transfer window, though. So we need to offset the incoming wages in some way. Theodore Sadler seems like an easy way to do that. He's never going to play for us. He's 32 years old. Let's put him on the transfer list and see if we can get rid of him. Ellis Lewis, I kind of just hate. Let's sell Ellis Lewis. And I think we're going to have to keep hold of all of our goalkeepers. Jordan Stokes too. He does only have 5 months left on his contract, but let's stick him on the transfer list. We'll do the same with Jack Davison just to see if we can get rid of him as well. Everybody else we will be keeping. So Bradford up next. And again, we're going to have to rotate our 11 for the Bradford game so that we can have the strongest possible 11 for the Arsenal game. Georgia Stanway joins Manchester City. Stanway is... Where's she gone? Here she is. She's one of my favorite... Here she is. She's one of my favorite for a fee of 210,000. That's wild. Is that realistic for women's football? I don't follow it that closely. I'm not aware of how much players get bought and sold for in women's football. But from Bayern Munich to Manchester City for 210,000, I imagine female players cost more than that, right? I mean, I imagine they can't cost as much as the male players, obviously, but I imagine the transfer fees must be higher than just the hundreds of thousands. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, I like Georgia Stanway a lot. I enjoy watching her for England. And I'd be interested in watching her if she joins the WSL. I don't really have a favourite WSL team just yet. I have been and watched the Norwich women play a couple of times at Carrow Road, which has been interesting. Stokes has approached. He's a player that we're looking to sell here in January. But it does look like he's going to be leaving on a free, as does Davison. We are using some very slightly modified sliders. Definitely not very modified. Very slightly modified. Let me just show the sliders again very quickly, because a couple of other people have asked. Everything is the same as version 4.0, with the exception of 34 shot speed instead of 35. That's an extremely minor change. -1 shot speed for the CPU. The only real changes are to line height and length, which have gone to 80 rather than 78, and down to 35, which I believe was at 40 in version 4. We've then also flipped the first touch control error. 5 for the user rather than 99. 99 for the CPU rather than 5. Those are the only changes. We have, over the course of this stream, also upped the build-up speed for the CPU up to 50. Very minor changes from version 4. So I'll be posting these in a version 4.1. I won't be posting that as a video. I'll just be posting it in the community tab and in the Discord, just because they are such minor changes, and we have other priorities in terms of the release schedule on the channel, like upcoming Crystal Palace episodes and live streams. So just a minor update. I'll post it on the community tab and in the Discord. So no interest at all in our players. I think our players being very much undervalued by other clubs. We're having a decent season. But no, well, I mean, to be fair, Dylan Williams is a player that we had on our shortlist. To be fair, they're not even playing for us, so it's not that surprising that there's no interest from other teams. But it does look like deadline day is going to tick away with no additional business. Let's, before it ticks away, just have a quick look at other transfers around the league. It doesn't really matter because it's going to be several seasons before we play any of these teams. But Tchouaméni joins Liverpool, Militao to Paris Saint-Germain, who send Marquinhos back the other way, Bolde to Manchester United, Nunez to Atletico Madrid, Antoine Griezmann to Tottenham we saw earlier, Jack Grealish to PSG, Destiny Udogie to Barcelona, Nathan Ake to Aston Villa is actually a very realistic one. I like that a lot. That's a really interesting transfer. Ryan Brobby goes to Lille. Angie to Dortmund. So City kind of shipping their centre-backs out. Daniel Marlin to Brighton is an interesting one. Ademola Lookman always seems to move as well. Cucurella joins Madrid. Jesus on his way out. Patrick Schick we saw join Chelsea. Richarlison to Wolves is an interesting one as well. That would be a cool transfer to see in real life. Jonathan David to Arsenal. And that's about it, really, of the really interesting ones. Brian Mbeumo to Real Madrid. Mark Gay to Villarreal. David Schlag is a player that I like as well. Mike Nori to Wolfsburg for just 26 million. That's cheaper than I would expect to see him go. He tends to have a very high overall and a very high transfer value. I think he has a massive potential in the game. So I think that not inflates his transfer value exactly, but leads to him having a very high transfer value in game. Usually when I see him, he's up in the kind of mid-30s to up around 40 million. Another player that I really like in real life, and I always think about signing, I always would like to sign in game, and just the opportunity never really arrives. And it's never really quite appropriate to sign him at any point. I do want to rotate slightly, so let's put Man in. Let's play Hardy as well because he hasn't really played. Let's actually play Seymour as well because he's moaning about not getting game time. So let's bring him in for this game. Let's put Saint back in. He's still coming back from injury. And El Fakiri can start on the left-hand side against Bradford. We do get a win in League 2. Still unbeaten. Williamson on the score sheet. And that makes me feel a little bit better about the draws in our previous games because we've now got 3 victories and 3 draws in League 2. And we've beaten Burnley in the Cup. So that's made me feel a lot better. Let's just have a quick check on the table as well. We are still second, just a point ahead of Gillingham. That win earlier in the episode, very important. And a couple of points ahead of Tranmere and Barrow. 5 points behind Fleetwood now, but we do have a game in hand. So that could easily change to just 2 points behind. So let's try and make sure we are fit and ready to go for what's going to be our final game of the stream. Final played game of the stream anyway. Against Arsenal in the 4th round of the FA Cup. Incredibly harsh draw. There were several much, much easier teams that we could have been paired against. But we ended up with Arsenal. It'll be a fun away day at the very least. Travelling to the Emirates. Would have preferred to be hosting them at Redmont Rangers, at Redmont Arena, rather, of course. But a trip to a big club is never a bad thing. Should instill, should be an enjoyable day out for the players, regardless of the result. And should give us a bit of a boost heading into our final League 2 fixtures of the episode as well. So let's try and work Saint back into the team for this one as well, since he is, again, just making his way back from injury. We've been lucky with injuries so far this season. The injury sliders have been working really, really well. 88 frequency, 35 severity. I have been seeing a really good range of injuries. Several 5-day injuries and different variations of 5-day injuries as well. Different kinds of bruises it tends to be. Did we win Manager of the Month? We won Manager of the Month. Let's go. January sees us win Manager of the Month. Beaten Burnley. Unbeaten in League 2. You can't say that that's undeserved. Let's go with Chamiti and Williamson up front again. I think let's go with Rose in midfield ahead of Bogard. But we will almost certainly bring Bogard off the bench for this one. I think it looks like we can probably afford to put both Saint and Pierce on the bench. Bogard, Hooper. No, Bogard, Webb. Hooper, Bird, Saint, and Pierce will round out the bench. So, final game of the stream to be played against Arsenal, who look like they're going to be lining up with David Raya, Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel Timber, Saka, Thomas Partey, Declan Rice, Martinelli, Kai Havertz, and Leandro Trossard. 2 4-4-2s. Dueling 4-4-2s in this one. Very much a throwback to the 90s and early 2000s. But Arsenal are going to be playing tiki-taka. They're going to press aggressively to win the ball back as quickly as possible. And they are going to be keeping their shape, comfortable in possession. It's going to make them difficult to counter-attack against. So I think we're going to have our work cut out for us in this particular game. But let's go with the lucky purple third kit. Purple on purple for this one. It's served us well in the series so far. Hopefully it serves us well again here for a trip to the Emirates. Round 4 of the FA Cup against Arsenal. Big, big game. The season is going well. Hey, Kurt, how's it going? Welcome to everybody who has just joined the stream. Biggest game of the season so far. Season is going well.
Number 2.
We are unbeaten in the calendar year in League 2. Well, we are unbeaten in the calendar year. Forget just in League 2. We haven't lost yet in the year 2025. Beat Burnley in round 3 of the FA Cup. A narrow 2-1 victory, which has set up this match against Arsenal. We've had a couple of disappointing draws in the league against Crewe, against Grimsby, most recently against Port Vale. But 3 wins in addition to those 3 draws sees us unbeaten and sees us in a healthy second position. And this game is team is almost completely different from the one that was predicted. Tomiyasu starting, Tierney starting, Odegaard starting, Moreno, Sterling, Oyarzabal. None of those were on the predicted first team. We have brought in a couple of new additions as well. So a couple of loanees here in January. One of whom is starting today alongside Dave Williamson up front, and that is Yusuf Chamiti. He's already popped up with a goal for us, but on loan from Everton. Looks to be a strong addition up front. Looks like he's going to make a big difference for us this season, and could be a player we look to pursue if we do get promoted into League 1 ahead of Season 2. And then Lamar Bogard, central midfielder from Aston Villa, is our other loanee. Currently on the bench, but did play against Port Vale and played well. So, predictions in the chat. Now I do think it might be a little bit more warranted to predict a 4-0 defeat. Maybe even a 7-0 like we saw in the Crystal Palace career mode against Manchester United. So I won't be too offended if your predictions are along those lines, especially since it looks as though Arsenal are going to open the scoring already. So predictions in the chat. What are we thinking? What's the score going to be in this one? Dave Williamson in behind. He's got Gabriel for company. Shrugs him off, puts it wide. I saw David Raya refusing to dive away to the right. It's not David Raya, is it? It's Neto. It's Neto. Raya was the predicted option in goal for Arsenal. Doesn't end up starting though. But 3 minutes into the game, there's been an opportunity at either end for each side. How do I think this one is going to finish? I think it's going to be... I predicted a 2-1 loss against Burnley. We ended up winning 2-1. I'm going to predict a 3-0 victory for Arsenal. I think they're going to be too much to overcome. Playing an extremely strong 11. Good challenge from Sean Rose, though. Kai Fry. I think we do just go all out to try and win. I think we just try and play our regular game. I think changing our approach now is just asking for trouble. And we're playing with house money, really, against Arsenal. So I think we might as well just go out, just play our regular game. It's the football that we know. And it's seen some success for us. However, 8 minutes into the game, it is 1-0. Kai Havertz opens the scoring for Arsenal. Not the ideal start, you would have to say. Odegaard finds Saka. And it's Oyarzabal combining with Havertz to unlock the defence. And it's a good finish that Callum Broad can do nothing about, really. However, 8 minutes into the game, we are already on the back foot. So I said we might as well just play our football. We will continue to do so. Everybody, of course, expects us to lose this game, so why not just play your football and see what happens? Especially if Dave Williamson continues to get in behind like he has been. Gubore's pass slightly misplaced. Williamson had made the perfect run. We just needed Gubore to drop it over the Arsenal back line and into his path, and he would have been in for a second time in 10 minutes. But instead, the pass is slightly adrift. And it ends up more in the direction of Kai Fry than it does Dave Williamson. Dealt with well from Hobbs, who just hooks clear. In search of Chimiti, but doesn't find him. Erdegaard. El Fakiri pressing. Gabore the same. Saka. Cut out well by Hutchinson. And Callum Broad just hooks clear. He finds Williamson. And Chimiti is in behind. Saliba, unfortunately, is alongside him. And Chimiti levels it. 13 minutes into the game, we have a goal at the Emirates. And I thought we were playing as Crystal Palace then for a moment. A quick counter-attack undoes Arsenal. A fantastic finish from Chimiti. Levels the scoring. Did anybody have us 2-2 lose on pens? We've got 3-2 Arsenal in the chat. So, predictions of a Redmont Rangers goal have come to fruition. I didn't even predict that much for us. I've underestimated us a little bit heading into this one. But again, let's just play our football. We've grabbed a goal at the Emirates. Oh, and Kai Havertz has almost grabbed a second. This is going to be a back and forth one. 16 minutes into the game, that much is already clear. Straight into the box from Arsenal. Gabriel turns it towards goal. We can't clear our lines. And Hobbs eventually gets the block in, and we can hook clear through Corey Hutchinson. And Neto is way out of his goal. Almost passes it straight to Nnamdi El Fakiri. I wouldn't have trusted him to put the ball in the back of the net from there, but oh, what a save, Callum Broad. Kai Havertz all on his own. Could have re-established the lead for Arsenal, but it's a fantastic save from Callum Broad, who continues to impress here in season 1. Jordan Hobbs finds Stokes. I mean, we had a prediction in the chat, actually. It's just occurred to me, there's no possible way that that prediction can come true. What was it? 2-2 and lose on pens. If it was 2-2, it would be a replay, right? We're in the FA Cup. So, a 2-2 draw would see us host Arsenal in a replay at Redmont Arena. At this stage of the competition, at the very least. Gabore. How has he won the ball? How has he won the ball there? Absolutely outrageous decision from the ref. There's absolutely no way he won the ball. And Corey Hutchinson has caught out. And I've lunged with Brandon Stokes. Kai Havertz is in behind. And he hits the bar. We get away with it. Well, we got away with it initially. And thankfully Havertz puts it wide. But we are riding our luck here. Kai Havertz cracks the post. Awful defending. I lunged with Hutchinson. Then I panicked and lunged with Stokes. Both players were then caught out of position. It's rookie defending. Kai Fry. I mean, let's keep playing those balls in behind for Williamson to chase. It doesn't come off there, but... And it hasn't really come off at any point, but it's threatened to come off on a number of occasions. Havertz. Tierney. Tierney, a player that we're looking at in the Crystal Palace save as well. Could do with an upgrade at left back heading into season 3. Great challenge from Hobbs. And finds Kai Fry. And again we'll test the Arsenal backline. Again, it doesn't come off, but it's going to. I can feel at some point in the course of today's game, that ball over the top to Dave Williamson is going to come off. Whether or not we grab a goal from it, who knows? But we're going to have an opportunity to score from that exact run in behind from Dave Williamson at some point today. Erdegaard. Saliba almost loses out to Chimiti. Oyarzabal. Well cut out by Burns, but can't keep the ball. Oyarzabal Face down by Stokes. But he finds Kai Havertz regardless, and it's another good save from Callum Broad. Tried to get the block on it. Couldn't do so. And again, look at Dave Williamson. He's got goal side of Gabriel on this occasion. Just about keeps it in, and that one is a foul. Cynical one from Gabriel as the ball was drifting out of play, and I think we'll see him booked for that, and we will. Deservedly so, in my opinion. But a free kick in a dangerous area, which Kai Fry will deliver. Puts it into a dangerous area himself as well. Head is clear from Saka. And Sterling is away. We do have defenders back, one of whom is Jamie Burns. It was actually Jordan Hobbs. And he put in an excellent challenge to dispossess Sterling. Hutchinson. And here's Kabore in space. There's Kai Fry. Big switch of play is on. And it's a fantastic pass to Chamiti, who doesn't quite find Fakiri. El Fakiri. It was an excellent chance. El Fakiri had made the ideal run. Just inside Chamiti. The pass just wasn't quite right. El Fakiri not alert enough there, though, to the Arsenal man behind him. And he does lose out. Kai Havertz. It's been a problem for us so far. Shoots from range. Saved again by Broad. And Sterling collects for Arsenal. It's another good challenge from Hobbs. Hobbs has done an excellent job on Sterling down our right-hand side. But we need to do a better job of defending against Kai Havertz. He's a difficult player to defend against when he's on his game, to be fair. Chamiti. Who is that to? Who is that to? So poor. Erdegaard finds Saka. And Tomiyasu finds Havertz. Make the save, Callum Broad, and he does. And he makes the save again. Don't give a penalty. You cannot give a penalty for that. You cannot give a penalty for that. Callum Broad has made the save. He's got up and made the save again. You can't penalise the goalkeeper for making a save at the feet of a striker. He's clearly got the ball. Saka takes it, sends Broad the wrong way. Arsenal have the lead. That's outrageous. Never a penalty. Never a penalty. I'm outraged. I'm absolutely outraged. Absolutely robbed. 5 minutes before half-time. Referee finds any excuse to give Arsenal the penalty. And we're going to fall apart from here. And we're going to fall apart from here. Saka makes it 3. It's a great ball. It's a great ball. And it's a good finish. It's a good run from Saka. It's a great ball to find him. It's a good finish. But we're going to fall apart from here. I think this is going to be... It's going to be 5 or 6. You can tell already. And it could be 5 or 6 by half-time. Good save, Callum Broad. Sterling to take the corner. Penalties just completely changed the game. I might take another look at it at half-time. Because perhaps I'm wrong, but I think Callum Broad sprawling out at the feet of Kai Havertz, I'm pretty sure got something on it. Williamson cuts inside. Buries it. We're back in it. We're back in it. Absolutely frantic. 5 minutes to end the half. But we're back in it. Within touching distance of Arsenal once more. Williamson just taking his time. Incredible composure. Completely sends Saliba. And fantastic composure to just allow the goalkeeper to come off his line. And then to slot it into that near post. Really good finish. And we are back in it. 45 minutes to grab a goal. And to avoid conceding, of course, which we have proven so far that we are unable to do. Jamie Burns. El Fakiri. No. I was too eager to get the ball forward to create one final opportunity of the half. And now Arsenal are going to have the opportunity to do just that instead. And they are. Oyarzabal finds Havertz again. Oh, too eager to get the ball forward. We've gifted Arsenal a final opportunity in the half, and they take full advantage. An absolutely crazy final 5 or 6 minutes in the first half. It was 1-1 for how long? And we're going to go into the half-time break with the scoreline 4-2. Didn't somebody have 4-2 on their bingo cards? Oh no, it was 3-2. It was 3-2, the prediction. But last kick of the first half sees Arsenal re-establish a 2-goal lead. And we're going to struggle to get back into this game, obviously. Goes without saying, but we will do our best in the second half to do just that. Jamie Burns finds El Fakiri. Good run from Yusuf Chamiti. Brings it down on his chest. Good run from El Fakiri as well. And there's Williamson. Side netting. Good football. Good football to start the half. Chamiti continues to look good in a Redmont Rangers shirt. It's been impressive. And I think we're going to struggle, really, to make decisions up front in terms of the starting 11. Do we play Chamiti and Williamson together? Do we continue to try and incorporate Ethan Saint in that false 9 role? It's going to be difficult to make those decisions, but I mean, it's good to have the options. It's good to have difficult decisions to make, because that means you've got some flexibility. It means you've got numerous ways to approach a game, rather than being forced to conform to one particular identity. Sean Rose steals it. Chamiti in behind for El Fakiri. Williamson does collect, but can't find Kai Fry, and loses possession eventually. Did well even to bring it in on the edge of the Arsenal box, to be fair, Dave Williamson. Sterling continues to be completely pigeonholed by Jordan Hobbs. He's had an excellent game. El Fakiri. Chamiti in behind. Saliba for company. I don't think he's going to beat him there. Saliba indeed does make it to the ball first and somehow manages to turn away, pirouetting on the touchline there. Oyarzabal, well cut out by Brandon Stokes. It's a shame he hasn't been quite that alert in the game so far. Robust challenge from the Arsenal midfielder, and we don't have enough movement going on up front. Couple of opportunities there as the ball fell to us to play a ball in behind, but we just didn't have the movement. It's another good challenge from Stokes, and Hobbs finds Fry. Thought that could have been the opportunity to finally find Dave Williamson in behind. Doesn't work out that way though. Chamiti finds Hobbs. Fry once more. Kabore. Chamiti. Nice little run from Jamie Burns. I tried to slip it through to him. Jamie Burns up from his left back position. And I think we're going to have to step up into our attacking game plan. Because with half an hour left to play, Arsenal are in complete control with that 2-goal lead. So we will try and be a little more aggressive in the final half an hour or so here. Rose finds Kabore. He finds Williamson. Good run from Chamiti. Brings it down on his chest. Another touch and fires, but saved. Parried over by Neto. We're asking questions of Arsenal, though. They've had the answers so far. Hutchinson can't win it. Not really sure what happened there. It looked as though Hutchinson had a pretty clear opportunity to challenge for that header. Potentially held back because he barely managed to get off the ground. Into the feet of Oyarzabal. And Saka beats Burns. And he's going to have the advantage in terms of pace as well. Burns does manage to get back in position. By Havertz. Parried away by Callum Broad at the near post. Big save. By Havertz has been excellent for Arsenal today, though. It's been so dangerous to deal with up front. Callum Broad collects. Finds Jamie Burns on the left-hand side. We can't really waste a lot of time here. We need to get the ball forward. El Fakiri in behind. Gets to it before Tomiyasu. Oh, what a good challenge, though, from Tomiyasu. Just as El Fakiri was shaping to cross. Or to, at the very least, cut inside. Really good last-ditch challenge. Raheem Sterling's done nothing today. Jordan Hobbs has been so good. Let's make a change or two here of our own. I think we'll stick with Chamiti and Williamson up front. I mean, we simply have our strongest 11 out there already. Teddy Hooper has been decent when he's come on. Let's give him a chance at centre midfield. And let's bring Blake Bird on the left, actually. El Fakiri continues to be disappointing. So, just some fresh legs, some new ideas potentially. We have our best 11 out on the pitch already, so just potentially looking to ask Arsenal some different questions with Blake Bird and Teddy Hooper. Saka again beats Burns. Stokes comes across, but now he's out of position. Good save, Callum Broad. Really good effort from range. Mikel Moreno it was, getting the shot away from outside the box. And Saka delivers for Arsenal. Turn towards goal, thankfully wide. And it will just be a goal kick. Jamie Burns. Arsenal continuing to press high despite the 2-goal lead. And the pass is a poor one. The pass is such a poor one from Hooper. Just trying to play it into the feet of Dave Williamson. Gets it all wrong. What a ball that is round the corner. Oyarzabal, good save. Really good save, Callum Broad. Continues to keep us in it. And here comes Jonathan David. New signing for Arsenal here in January. Deep into the box. And again, we can't clear our lines. We should be able to here with Teddy Hooper, though. And we've taken far too long to play that. I mean, I pressed it an age before the pass was actually played. I pressed that when whoever that was, I think maybe it was Blake Bird on the halfway line. I powered up that pass when he was probably a good 7 or 8 yards inside our half. By the time the ball was played, he was 3 or 4 yards into the Arsenal half. And I think he's injured now as well, Blake Bird. He's gone down in the Arsenal final third, and he hasn't got up yet. So just as we've got Ethan Saint back, it looks as though we're going to be losing Blake Bird to injury. It's not going to be the biggest loss for us. We do have plenty of depth in centre midfield. And particularly amongst those attacking options. Williamson. Pass to Hooper, but it's just behind him. And we're just struggling to get anything going now. Arsenal in complete control of the game. Far better in possession than us. 2-goal advantage. Sean Rose finds Blake Bird, who is nursing a knock here. Chimiti cuts inside. Can't beat Saliba. Excellent defending. Kai Havertz finds Saka, who again beats Jamie Burns for pace. When is he going to learn his lesson? And Kai Havertz puts the exclamation mark on the game for Arsenal. Arguably the best goal of the game. We've seen a couple of good ones from Arsenal. But that's a pretty tidy goal. Saka. Havertz on the volley. Is that his hat-trick or is it 2? I think it's 2 for Havertz. Yeah, we've got Saka, we've got Oyarzabal. I don't remember who scored the other. Kai Havertz certainly opened the scoring for Arsenal, but I think that's his second rather than his third. Could be wrong. I guess we'll see at the end of the game. Dave Williamson. Can we grab another one back? Absolutely not. We'll take Blake Bird off. He's injured. He might be able to run it off, but who knows? Let's... I guess let's put Fry on the right. Let's put Hooper... Sorry, Fry on the left. Hooper on the right. Let's bring Ethan Saint on as well. We haven't played with him since he's been back from injury. So we'll give him a run out. Still looking to get back to full match sharpness. He's certainly fit enough to be playing at this point, but needs to get a few games under his belt so that he can get that sharpness back after being out for, I think, maybe just a month. 6 weeks or so, maybe. Trossard finds Havertz. We said it could be 5 or 6 towards the end of the first half. It does look as though it's going to be 5. We have grabbed 2 goals against Arsenal at the Emirates, to be fair. It's been not a good performance by any means, but it's been a somewhat spirited performance at the very least. David, carried away by Broad. Let's get one final poll for the stream then. Next time the ball goes out of play. Who's your man in the match for this game? I've got a good idea of who's going to be the winner for this one. But we'll get some names in the chat in just a second. Teddy Hooper. Crosses deep. Looking for Ethan Saint. Finds his way all the way to El Fakiri. And Chimiti turns, fires. Blocked by Arsenal. Ooh, and we almost nabbed it away from Neto there. Teddy Hooper. Let's get some names in the chat. Man of the match. Brilliant. So, man of the match versus Arsenal. I think the first name has to be Callum Broad. Dave Williamson has been good. Who else deserves a shout? Hobbs certainly deserves a shout. And the fourth is going to be... Let's put Chimiti on the list. Really, there are only 2 possible names that it could be. Chimiti isn't one of them. We are playing with some ever so slightly updated sliders. Just some very minor adjustments to the line values. And then we have reversed the first touch control error values. So we currently have 80 line height rather than 78 for both the user and the CPU. And we have 35 line length for the user and the CPU rather than 40. And then line width is still at 48. So you want 80 line height, 35 line length, 48 line width. Great block. And then we have reversed the first touch control error values. So it is 5 for the user and 99 for the CPU, rather than it being the other way around. We have then raised the build-up speed from 45 to 50. Those are the only changes, though, from version 4.0. So I will be posting those as a version 4.1. I won't be posting it as a video. I'll just be posting it in the community tab on YouTube and in the Discord channel, because those are the only changes being made. Very minor update to accommodate the most recent title update, but thankfully big changes actually weren't needed, despite despite what seemed like significant changes based on the patch notes. Really the actual kind of tangible adjustments to the gameplay were only minor after the most recent title update, and they were a positive change as well. Improvements to the defensive line, as the patch notes kind of suggested. So for once, EA said that they were going to do something, and they actually did it, surprisingly. But we do go down 5-2 against Arsenal. We won't be progressing in the FA Cup, but it's a decent run, and we had extremely tough draws, to be fair. We did well just to get to this stage after beating Burnley in the previous round. But we do go down 5-2 to Arsenal. It must have just been the 2 goals for Kai Havertz rather than the 3. We don't see him get the match ball at the end there. But Chamiti gets on the scoreline. Dave Williamson gets on the scoreline. But it is Callum Broad who takes the man of the match with 40. Well, Broad and Williamson are tied. My vote would actually go for Hobbs at right back, who completely nullified Raheem Sterling. But as we can see, Arsenal completely dominated the game. So if I'm going to break the tie between Broad and Williamson, it's going to go to Broad. I would say Broad and Hobbs were the outstanding players in that particular game. Yeah, the Arsenal fans, I mean...
Sorry, can we just grab a moment of your time?
They haven't had a huge amount to cheer about in the last several seasons, to be fair to them. So overcoming a lowly League 2 side in round 4 of the FA Cup is as much to cheer about as they've had, really, in recent seasons. So we can't hold it too much against them. But that'll be the final game that we play of today's stream. We will quick sim the remaining fixtures that we have in League 1 against in League 2 rather. Not League 1 just yet, although it is looking like we could be in League 1 fairly soon. We have dropped to 3rd position in the table, but we do have a game in hand on Gillingham, 2 games in hand on Fleetwood. So if all goes well in the remaining fixtures this month, we could actually find ourselves top of the table. We've got Colchester, we've got Doncaster. And that will round things out. In the next episode, so the next live stream, we will be coming to the end of Season 1. So the next live stream will cover the months of March, of April, and of May. So we'll be playing 5 or 6 of those games. We'll be maybe quick sim in the rest. We might try out some slow sim in the next episode. But we do have an injury, and it is a broken toe for Blake Bird. We do see broken toes from time to time, but with the current injury sliders, it's certainly not the case that you just see them constantly like it was previously. I've seen them every now and again, which I don't mind at all. It's not like you don't want to see any broken toes. It's just you don't want broken toes to be the only injury that you see. And with the current injury sliders, that's certainly not the case. So let's just try and make sure we're fit and healthy for this Colchester game. We will potentially try and get a couple players in the first team who haven't played too much, like Reggie Seymour. We don't want to frustrate him too much with a lack of game time. He is getting a little frustrated at the moment. So we might try and rotate him in for at least one of these games. Ethan Saint, we probably need to get back into the starting lineup at some point here as well, because he is also going to want to get back in the first team now that he has returned from injury. So Colchester kind of on the periphery of the playoffs, 9th position. It is still somewhat condensed at the top of the table in terms of point totals. Does Bogard want to play? He's ready to come in for Blake Bird. I mean, we can probably put him in ahead of probably Kabore for this one, to be fair. So let's rotate in Seymour at centre-back. Let's rotate in Bogard in centre midfield. And let's rotate in Saint up front. And I think those will be the only changes that we make. I'm going to play Hardy in the final game of the episode as well. I'm going to have to make these changes again now. I'm going to play Hardy in the final game of the episode because I think he's going to be frustrated with the lack of game time as well. And we do want to keep him happy because he is a good young player at centre-back, which is a position that we're not particularly deep at. So we certainly don't want to anger him. We want to keep him around for the long haul as well. We continue the unbeaten run in League 2. Sean Rose gets the only goal of the game against Colchester to give us a 1-0 victory. Didn't see any important fixtures in there, or any important results in there, in terms of players, teams rather, close to us in League 2. So let's get to the Doncaster game and see if we can round out episode 4 of season 1, remaining completely unbeaten in League 2. So we'll bring in Hardy. We'll go with Chimiti and Williamson. And I think we just go with our highest overall 11 for this one. And we'll put Pearce on the bench ahead of Saint. Can we get the win away from home at Doncaster to make it an unbeaten episode? We can't get the win, but we do remain unbeaten. Kabore grabs an equaliser 62 minutes in after Kelly's opener in the 58th minute. We'll take it. It's maybe not absolutely ideal, but we'll take it, especially since Fleetwood Town also drew. So where does that leave us as we round out the stream? It leaves us in 3rd position, 2 points behind Fleetwood, but we do have 2 games in hand. It leaves us 4 points behind Gillingham, but we do have a game in hand. So we can't take top spot from Gillingham with that game in hand, but we can take 2nd from Fleetwood relatively comfortably. We are level on points with Notts County, but again, games in hand over them. Barrow dropped to 54, Tranmere on 53, MK Dons, the final playoff team, on 50, and then it drops off to 46 points, which is Bradford. So we are 10 points clear of not making the playoffs, basically. We have 10 points to play with to at least be a playoff team this season. Let's check in on the stats at this point as well. Can we get the full stats in the squad hub? Sometimes they're there, sometimes they bug out and it just resets to 0. But I'd like to see the total stats for all competitions if possible, and we can. Dave Williamson having an excellent season. 16 goals and 3 assists in 32 games. 9 and 6 for Sean Rose is solid. 5 goals for Ethan Saint. 4 for Charles Mann, who we probably also need to get in the team a little more often. Kabore has 4. Fry has 3 and 5. 3 for Bird. Chimiti already has 2 games and 5 appearances for us. 1 in League 2, 1 in the FA Cup. El Fakiri just 1 goal, but 4 assists for him. And Elliot Hardy has popped up with a goal as well. I think, let's check and see if Callum Broad is still leading the league in clean sheets. I'm not certain that he will be at this stage. We have Williamson relatively close to the golden... Well, actually, he's not close at all. He's having a decent season on 12 goals, but Andy Cook is miles ahead. That's not what I want. I want assists. Sean Rose, joint top assister on 6. And Callum Broad is still top on clean sheets comfortably on 14. So the Golden Glove looks to be going to Callum Broad. The Golden Boot, not so much. So we will leave it there. As I said, next episode, next week, next Friday, will be the final live stream of Season 1. I will then be condensing and posting the entirety of Season 1 into a single video, which I'll be posting at the end of the month. So lots and lots of League 2 games to get to. I believe we are out of all cup competitions at this point. So just the league to focus on. Just looking to establish ourselves as an automatic promotion team and make it up to League 1 here in Season 1. We have another game against our local-ish rivals, Harrogate Town, to get to. We have a fairly easy run of fixtures by the looks of it, but we will take on Fleetwood in the month of April at home. Barrow are around the top of the league as well, and we will face them. And in the final month, it looks to be some fairly easy fixtures. So we don't have Gillingham again, but we will face Fleetwood and we will face Barrow. So next Friday, 7 p.m, make sure you tune in for the conclusion of Season 1. I hope to see you there. Thank you, everybody who joined. Take it easy.